पर्दे के पीछे K9 ओमेगा शॉट 1 टेक 1।
ओमेगा, आपकी टीम लुक्स शार्प पर आप ट्रॉफी तक नहीं पहुंच पा रहे हैं, क्या गलत हो रहा है?
मैं तो यही कहना चाहूंगा कि इट्स अ प्रोसेस, स्लो प्रोसेस। हम डेली मैचेस में नए मेटा के हिसाब से चीज़ें सीख रहे हैं और उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने में टाइम लग रहा है। तो धीरे धीरे जब ये कंप्लीट हो जाएगा तब हम लोग पीक पे आ जाएंगे।
सीजन 4 में क्या हम कुछ अलग एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं आपसे?
हाँ ना, बहुत ज्यादा कॉन्फिडेंट है प्लेयर्स, क्योंकि उनको मोस्टली आइडिया आ गया है कि हमारा गेम प्लान क्या रहने वाला है।
अगर आपको एक मौका मिले आपका अपना एक ट्रांसफर रोकने का, रीराइट करने का, तो आप क्या बदलेंगे?
यार मैं ऐसे सोचता नहीं हूँ, मतलब कि मेरे लिए ऐसा होता है कि आई मूव फॉरवर्ड, मतलब जो भी हुआ अच्छे के लिए हुआ है, कुछ ना कुछ बेटर ही हुआ है, तो मैं से वापस पीछे नहीं जाता।
अगर आप एक डिसीजन को क्रॉस आउट कर सके और उस मोमेंट को रीबिल्ड कर सके, तो वो कौन सा मोमेंट होगा ओमेगा?
एक बार जब मैं एलएस में था तो अक्षत को मैंने दूसरी टीम में भेज दिया था और फिर मैं उस ऑफिशियल से बाहर हो गया था, तो आई थिंक मैं अक्षत को वापस लेके आऊंगा।
ओमेगा, आपको ज्यादा प्रेशर किस चीज का फील होता है? ऑडियंस की एक्सपेक्टेशन का या अपने ही स्टैंडर्ड्स पे फेल होने का?
ऑडियंस का प्रेशर तो देखो रहा नहीं है, मतलब स्टार्टिंग से गेम खेल रहे हैं तो अच्छा ही लगता है जब ऐसे आवाजें आती है, एक प्लेयर मारा, आवाज आई, वो कॉन्फिडेंस बूस्ट मिलता है। जो नए नए प्लेयर्स हैं उनको थोड़ा प्रेशर फील होता होगा, और वैसे ऐसा कुछ डर है नहीं, पता ही है कि मेहनत करते रहेंगे तो अपने आप कामयाब हो जाएंगे। तो मैं ऐसे सेकंड थॉट्स नहीं रहता, नेगेटिव चीज की साइड में जाता ही नहीं, पॉजिटिव सोचो अपने आप हो जाएगा।
जिस लाइनअप ने आपको फेमस बनाया वो तो अब गायब सा ही हो गया है, आपको कभी उनकी मेमोरीज आती है या वो लाइनअप के साथ वापस खेलने के बारे में सोचा है?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं, मतलब अच्छी यादें हैं नो डाउट, बट जो बुरी यादें हैं वो बहुत ज्यादा बुरी हैं और मैं उनको वापस से नहीं जीना चाहूंगा, बिल्कुल भी नहीं। अगर मैं पास में जा भी पाऊं तो मैं वो चेंज कर दूंगा 100%।
प्रेजेंट में ऐसा क्या अच्छा चल रहा है जो पास्ट आपको इतना चुभ जाता है?
पास्ट मेरे को चुभता नहीं है, बस मैं ऐसा बात करना पसंद नहीं है मुझे, मतलब मैं उन चीजों को इतना इंपॉर्टेंस देता ही नहीं हूँ अपनी लाइफ में। प्रेजेंट पे फोकस करो, मेरी टीम है बहुत अच्छी है, काइंड ऑफ जैसी मेरे को टीम चाहिए थी जिनको मैं अच्छे तरीके से मोल्ड कर सकूं, जिस तरीके से मेरे को खिलाना है, और ये सारे मेरी बात भी सुनते हैं, तो ये चीज आई थिंक मेरे को बहुत पहले कर लेनी चाहिए थी, बट इट्स ओके।
आपके पुराने खिलाड़ी अक्षत और अब नए खिलाड़ी स्लग के बारे में आपका क्या कहना है?
स्लग और अक्षत तो बहुत डिफरेंट है, मतलब बिल्कुल ऑपोजिट है, बट इनका कुछ कुछ नेचर ऐसा है जो सिमिलर है और जो मुझे पसंद है। बट अब अक्षत तो है नहीं, वो अपने घर के कामों में बिजी हो गया है, तो उसको मिस तो करूंगा मैं, बट हाँ एक छोटा भाई है मेरे पास अभी, एक नहीं 3 है।
हमें वो 4 नाम बता दीजिए जो मास्टर सीरीज में है पर उन्हें चैलेंजर सीरीज में होना चाहिए था।
कई सारी टीम्स हैं, मतलब आई थिंक वो टीम डिजर्व नहीं करती है लोअर राउंड में, कई टीम्स ऐसी हैं जो इधर की साइड होने डिजर्व करती हैं। नाम तो मैं क्या ही लूंगा यार अब, बट एक दो नाम मेरे को याद है, जैसे कि TWOB है, एंड मतलब जो क्राइटेरिया मैच नहीं हो रहा है, मैड किंग्स नहीं और गए, ना पॉइंट टेबल्स है ना कुछ और, तो ऐसे कई चीजें हैं।
थैंक यू सो मच ओमेगा, वी ऑल लव यू, ऑल द बेस्ट।
थैंक यू।
पर्दे के पीछे TR जेली शॉट 1 टेक 1।
बढ़िया, स्टार्ट करें।
तो जेली परफॉर्मेंस डिप क्यों आ रही है? नंबर 5 इन ऑफिशियल्स, नंबर 7 इन थर्ड पार्टी, BGMS में 10 के नीचे जाने का प्लान है क्या?
टॉप 5 तो ठीक है यार, देखो आप लास्ट मैच तक हम लोग थर्ड पे ही चल रहे थे, लास्ट टूर्नामेंट में भी ठीक है, लास्ट मैच चोक हो गया थोड़ा सा तो 7th तक गिर गए, बट मेरे हिसाब से अच्छा खेली टीम हमारा, अगर थोड़ा सा गलती ना करते तो शायद थर्ड आ जाते या पोडियम फिनिश लेके आ जाते, तो ठीक है, होता है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, BGMS पे करेंगे ना अभी। अच्छा,
आपने बताया आपका लाइनअप अभी नया बना है, उसके बारे में बताइए।
रिसेंट जो अपना ये लैंड हुआ था अभी, उससे पहले ही मतलब लाइनअप जो बना था, मतलब 2 प्लेयर्स मैंने चेंज किए थे, निंजा और सैम अलग हो गए थे, एंड हम लोग हर्ष और हाइड्रो को लेके आए थे टीम के अंदर। तो विजन यही था कि जीतने वाले लाइनअप बनानी है, एंड हाइड्रो और हर्ष पे मेरे को भरोसा भी है। देखते हैं, अभी तक रिजल्ट्स काफी अच्छे रहे हैं, मतलब जितना मैंने एक्सपेक्ट किया था शायद उससे बेटर ही है, कभी कभी गलतियां हो जाती है लेकिन मेरे हिसाब से अच्छा करेगी लाइनअप।
चलिए, एक स्टार स्टडेड लाइनअप जो आपने पहले लीड किए और अभी जो लाइनअप है जहां नए फेसेस हैं, क्या फर्क है इन्हें लीड करने में?
लेकिन मेरे को तो ऐसा लगता है कि अगर मैं ये सोच के लीड कर रहा हूँ किसी टीम को कि इस टीम में स्टार्स है या फिर इस टीम में अंडरडॉग प्लेयर्स है, तो फिर तो मेरे को आईजेल करना छोड़ देना चाहिए, क्योंकि फिर मैं सेम पेज पे कभी भी आईजेल कर नहीं पाऊंगा। अगर मैं किसी भी प्लेयर को अपने से बड़ा मान के चल रहा हूँ या फिर ऐसा मान के चल रहा हूँ ये स्टार है, मैं इसको कुछ बोल नहीं सकता, तो फिर तो लाइनअप चल नहीं पाएगी कभी भी। तो मैं किसी भी लाइनअप में रहता हूँ तो सेम ही ट्रीट करता हूँ हर एक प्लेयर को, वो फर्क नहीं पड़ता मेरे को कितना भी बड़ा स्टार हो या फिर कोई भी अंडरडॉग हो। अगर कोई गलती करेगा तो मैं उसको तो वहाँ पे उसी तरह से सुनाऊंगा जैसे एक अंडरडॉग को सुनाता हूँ या फिर एक स्टार प्लेयर को सुनाता हूँ, तो इक्वल है, कुछ ऐसा डिफरेंस नहीं है।
आपके करियर में सबसे बेस्ट लाइनअप कौन सा रहा है जो आपके फेस पे मुस्कुराहट ले आती है?
देखो मुस्कुराहट तो आई ही है, और मतलब वो लाइनअप सबको पता भी, और मैं मतलब जहाँ भी जाता हूँ सबके सामने उस लाइनअप की तारीफ करता हूँ, उस ऑर्ग की तारीफ करता हूँ। वो OR Esports है, ऑरेंज रॉक। तो मतलब वहाँ पे बेस्ट एक्सपीरियंस था मेरा। BMPS पर हम लोग सेकंड आए थे, और जो भी टूर्नामेंट खेलते थे हमेशा फर्स्ट से क्वालिफाई करते थे, और हमेशा मतलब डोमिनेट करते थे उस टाइम पे। आरू आतंकी, मैं और आदित्य लाइनअप थी हमारी। तो OR का टाइम मतलब मैं भुला नहीं सकता, लाइफ का बेस्ट पार्ट रहा है अभी तक मेरे। क्या पता अभी शायद और कुछ बड़ा प्राइम आना हो, लेकिन वो वाला मेरा बेस्ट था, बहुत मजा आता था उस टाइम।
आरू एंड आतंकी ने अभी ट्रॉफी उठा ली, पर आपकी ट्रॉफी तो हमें नहीं दिख रही।
तो देखो आरू और आतंकी ना मेरे भाई जैसे, जब वो फर्स्ट डे पे टॉप भी किए थे मैं उनके पास गया था, उनको बोला था प्लीज इस बार ट्रॉफी उठा देना, क्योंकि पहली बात तो ओजी की ट्रॉफी सब लोग देखना चाहते थे, और ओजी से ज्यादा मैं देखना चाहता था आरू और आतंकी को बहुत अच्छा करते हुए, क्योंकि वो पहली शायद मेरी ऐसी टीम थी जब हम लोग अलग हुए थे तो हमारे बीच में कुछ भी लड़ाई या कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं हुआ था। बहुत ज़्यादा म्यूचुअल बेसिस पे हम लोग अलग हुए थे, और वो लोग भी समझे थे चीज़ों को जिसके बेसिस पे हम लोग अलग हुए, और आज वो लोग इतना अच्छा कर रहे हैं, ट्रॉफी उठा ली। मतलब देखो मैं इतने टाइम से कह रहा हूँ मैं नहीं उठा पाया, लेकिन वो लोग उठा लिए तो मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगता है, और होपफुली BGMS में भी वो लोग अच्छा करें। बाकी तो चलते रहता है, क्या पता अपनी ट्रॉफी पे आ जाए जल्दी।
ये आपका फोर्थ मस्केटियर आदित्य कहाँ है वो आजकल?
यार आदित्य का मेरे को इतना आइडिया नहीं है, बट हाँ जब मैं टूरिपस की लाइनअप बना रहा था तो मैंने उसको अप्रोच किया था आदित्य को, लेकिन कुछ उसके डिफरेंट प्लान्स थे, तो उसने बोला कि वो शायद उस जगह पे कंटिन्यू करना चाहता है। तो मैंने बोला ठीक है कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लेकिन फ्यूचर में अगर कुछ भी होगा तो दरवाजे हमेशा खुले भाई के लिए, कभी भी आ जाए।
हमारे न्यू इनिशिएटिव चैलेंजर सीरीज के बारे में आपका क्या कहना है?
देखो मेरे हिसाब से तो अच्छा है, क्योंकि 24 टीम्स अपना BGMS में रहेगी और चैलेंजर सीरीज में 24 टीम्स रहेगी, तो मेरे हिसाब से अच्छा है। अंडरडॉग्स को भी लैन पे आके चांस मिल रहा है, नहीं तो हमेशा ये होता था अंडरडॉग्स को सीधा ऑनलाइन स्टेज पे खिलाते थे, उसके बाद सीधा लैन पे आके फिर वो उनके पास भी एक बहाना बोल लो या कुछ भी बोल लो, लेकिन वो रहता था कि भाई हम लोग तो लैन पे खेले नहीं, फर्स्ट टाइम आ रहे हैं। लेकिन इस बार तो पूरा चैलेंजर सीरीज उनका लैन पे होने वाला है, तो उसके बाद उनके पास बहाना नहीं होगा जब मास्टर सीरीज में वो लोग आएंगे कि हम पे एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है कुछ भी। बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है और नॉट भी नहीं कर सकता थे।
लास्ट क्वेश्चन, चैलेंजर सीरीज की 2 टीम्स जो आप मास्टर सीरीज में देखना चाहते हैं?
चैलेंजर सीरीज से मास्टर सीरीज में तो मेरे हिसाब से सिंसिनाटी किड्स और विजिस्टा स्पोर्ट्स, क्योंकि एक में हेक्टर है एक में जूसी है, बहुत ज्यादा नोन प्लेयर है, काफी टाइम से खेलते आ रहे हैं, तो मैं इन दोनों को देखना चाहता हूँ मास्टर सीरीज में।
ओके, और वो 2 टीम्स मास्टर सीरीज में जिन्हें ये दोनों टीम्स रिप्लेस कर सकती है?
एक RNDX और RNDX के साथ लिखिता esports विजिस्टा लिखिता एक साथ है ना, तो इनको स्वैप कर देते हैं।
रीजन भी बता दीजिए।
लेकिन RNDX में मतलब जिन प्लेयर्स ने उतना बड़ा नाम बनाया था वो नहीं खेल रहे ना अभी, तो अभी शायद लाइनअप चेंज जितना मेरे को आइडिया है, तो इसीलिए बस, और कोई रीजन नहीं।
गुड लक जेली फॉर BGMS सीजन 4।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
सेंसेई ने ठाना है सीजन 4 में ट्रॉफी घर लेकर आना है। क्या बैटमैन और जोकर की टीम लिफ्ट करेगी बैक टू बैक टाइटल्स? क्या जस्टिन और डेल्टा की जोड़ी करेगी ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में धमाकेदार तोड़-फोड़? With a never say never attitude, NoNx है फिनाले के लिए तैयार। Watch BGMS season 4 live on Jio Hotstar, Star Sports and Nodwin Gaming's YouTube channel daily from 5 p.m.
A month-long journey is about to come to its end. Final 4 games separate these teams from being crowned as the champions of the BGMS Season 4. And I'm going to be your host, Crore. John alongside with me on the panel, it will be Scaredy Cat. And yes, it is the day 3 of the Grand Finals. And Scared, looking at the overall standings, it still feels like it can be anyone's ball game. It's still pretty tight.
Man, this is the last ride of the 28 days long marathon out here. And yes, looking at the leaderboard which you mentioned, there are some teams who performed out of their mind. I'm talking about True Rippers, I'm talking about REVENANT X SPARK, and teams like K9, who we never expected to see up in top 5 are still here in for contention.
That's pretty much all about K9 Esports, right? Whenever you think that K9 Esports just cannot really make it, they just always make a bounce back with that one massive game. And that's what they've been doing throughout the entirety of the Grand Finals. One of the most consistent teams, and it's quite uncharacteristic for a team like K9 Esports, right? I've been saying this like a broken record. K9 Esports and consistency just do not really go along that well. But this time in the Grand Final, it's a completely different K9 Esports. But we cannot really ignore the fact that even Seoul has been playing out of their minds.
I mean, here's the big thing, right? The defending champions out here right now, they are not on the first place. And we've had this one ritual of BGMS that whenever there's a team that's on the day 2 of Grand Finals, it's at top of the leaderboard, they end up dropping the ball. And there's someone else who eventually steal that one away. And right now, we've got a lot of team in competition to try and steal that away, right? We've got OG in the contention, we've got True Rippers in the contention as well. But to be very honest, I think so it could be REVENANT X SPARK to lift that trophy.
Even that's going to be a spicy name, right? Looking at the day one and the start of REVENANT X SPARK, we all thought they're done for. They have gassed out, they performed pretty well in the league stage, and it feels like everything was revealed in the league stage itself, and they had nothing secured up for the Grand Finals. But then when the day 2 struck, REVENANT X SPARK, they made a major bounce back in the overall standings, and right now it seems like the wind is in the sails. They can definitely make things work for them. But what's exactly going to happen in the future? We'll find out in the future itself. But for now, we got to toss to the opening ceremony of the day 3 in the Grand Finals.
the champion of BGMI Masters, celebrate for the very first time, Global Esports.
The winner of Season 2 is Gladiator Esports! The winner of the Season 3 is iQOO!
After looking at that opening ceremony, one thing is for sure, I'm having a lot of goosebumps on myself. But we also need to talk about the teams that were not able to perform in the grand finals of the BGMS Season 4 so far. I'm speaking of Global Esports, I'm also speaking of Infinix Esports and Hero Xtreme Godlike. Of course, quite a surprising name, right?
I mean, I'll have to say these were the three teams which we eventually saw performing pretty well in the playoffs itself, right? Even the audience were able to witness that entire wrath of Infinix Esports and how even Godlike Esports were able to perform pretty well in those semi-finals, topping the charts. But even after all of that, not really performing in the grand finals when it matters the most. I think so for Godlike, man, it has been that ego challenge drop clash with REVENANT X SPARK.
It's not even that, right? It feels like Hero Xtreme Godlike is switching things up, especially when it matters the most. Why is Admino playing in the backlines? I don't understand that. Admino's supposed to be the one to be the entry frag inside of that team. He's supposed to be the one to knock the doors first and get those knockouts first for his team. But instead, now we're seeing Admino on that back foot, and it's really taken a massive toll on Hero Xtreme Godlike's performance. I genuinely do feel like Hero Xtreme Godlike should let that man free and just let him go in the front, go for those frags. That's the only thing that can save him. But at this point in time, we all know Hero Xtreme Godlike is way too far back in the overall standings. There's no saving them. And the same thing can also be said for a team like Infinix Esports. We know what exactly is going on with them. Infinix Esports has been struggling from the start. We did see them catch a bit of that pace, but the problems continue. And speaking of the problems, I mean, in yesterday's day for Hero Xtreme Godlike, there were problems and problems stacking up on top of each other. REVENANT X SPARK at the start ripped him off, and then later on Global Esports took the opportunity.
I mean, the only consistent thing happening for them was the fact that they were constantly getting destroyed earlier on. But here was one big thing which eventually happened for the players of Versatile, and that was that massive chicken dinner, which eventually propelled them back into that contestation ranking for the top 5. I really thought maybe that consistency is going to be maintained, but on the map of Miramar, there were things which were looking pretty dire for them.
And speaking of dire, even for Hero Xtreme Godlike, it was such an unorthodox push, right? Making that pounce on top of the players of God's Reign, getting absolutely shut down just by that one-man Neo. And speak of being shut down, well, you move on to the next map, and that's what exactly happened to Hero Xtreme Godlike. Fierce! He lined them all up and just entered in and destroyed everyone from Hero Xtreme Godlike, getting a quick 4-piece.
It was again that problem and the disconnect between those players though, but it was a pretty solid connect between the members of Soul, performing pretty well out there in that fight against the members of Nebula as well, winning that one, eventually moving forward. But man, I never saw this chicken dinner of God's Reign. Medal Esports dropped the ball pretty hard.
Yeah, for Medal Esports in the final few moments as well, they were not able to do anything, just get eliminated over there. And that's why Medal Esports is not looking too hot in the overall standings. Then later on, we did see things kick off once again in quite the fiery note, where NoNx was also a part of the action. And NoNx, luckily enough for them, it did seem like it was going to be a massive game. Shutting down a team like Mighty Los Hermanos, of course, fired up the boys.
That was again early fight coming in, and we know how fired Mighty Los Hermanos are whenever they see one or two of those players, but it was not able to eventually convert into a big one. But another team that was pretty solid in that game was K9, and on the back of that last game, they propelled themselves back up on the ranking.
K9 Esports is looking like in a clinical form, and they should continue the same run. With 87 points, they're currently at the top of the charts, while Soul is currently sitting on the second spot with 87 points. Then you've also got OG right there with 66, and then True Ripper's not too far back with 62 points. You've also got REVENANT X SPARK with 56 and God's Reign with 55.
All of these top 6 teams can eventually propel themselves up. It's only going to take one big game and a second fumble coming in from K9 or Soul, or also from OG. But for the teams who are on that second page, they don't need just one consistent game, Necro. They need two consistent games. Be it Medal, be it Genesis, be it Global Esports. Versatile as well. Yeah, I think so they can make it. But for Sinewy, that's where I feel the line could be drawn.
Yeah, K9 Esports, they've got a massive lead at that point, right? Having 87 points in total, it's going to be tough to take that over. K9 Esports has been backing it up with consistent points flow, and that's the only thing that's really keeping them at the top of the charts. And look at the latter half of the board. I mentioned, right? Infinix Esports, Xtreme, Godlike right next to each other. Then you see Los Hermanos. For Los Hermanos, after that week 1 off the league stage, we know what exactly has happened to them. It's just a sinking ship.
Yeah, that's one of the big things which we were discussing as well. But out here, having a look at the TVS Radar MVP ranking, it's going to be Hydro. He's going to have that maximum points out there, 8.53 with 16 finishes as well. Now we've got a different criteria. It totally depends on the number of finishes out here you have. But this is the big trophy of the TVS MVP. You would not want to miss out on this chance because there are some big players who are in for this race.
This wicked-looking trophy will be given to the MVP of the player in the grand finals, which is absolutely insane, right? Now, moving on the conversation towards a few more individuals, right? Yeah. Let's start talking about Middle Esports and how the performance has shifted, especially from being in the semifinals, right? Scout is back in the grand finals, and it clearly does seem like the man is not able to contribute a lot more to the team, and that's why Middle Esports is now currently dipping down.
I'd have to agree out there. Yes, they are struggling out there, but there's one man who's not been struggling, and he's been making sure that his team performs pretty well. That's going to be Omega from K9, ladies and gentlemen, who's standing on the stage.
This red beauty, the world's best-selling car, टेस्ला की मॉडल वाई. टेस्ला फाइनली आ चुका है हमारे देश में. इफ यू वांट टू एक्सपीरियंस इट देन वेल टेस्ला हैज गॉट देयर एक्सपीरियंस सेंटर वर्ल्ड मार्क जो है एरो सिटी में या फिर बांद्रा कुर्ला कॉम्प्लेक्स मुंबई में. आप वहां पे जाके टेस्ट ड्राइव भी ले सकते हैं. एंड अगर आपने गाड़ी खरीद ली तो बॉस टेस्ला का सुपर चार्जिंग स्टेशन जो है वहां पे आप प्लग कीजिए इस मॉडल वाई को और 15 मिनट में जादू देखिए. 267 किलोमीटर्स विल बी एडेड. आफ्टर ऑल गाड़ी बिजली पे चलती है, लेकिन आज बिजली कड़कने वाली है. आई एम गोइंग टू इनवाइट द टू टीम्स दैट आर एट द टॉप ऑफ द लीडर बोर्ड. 87 पॉइंट्स के साथ ओमेगा की K9, 78 पॉइंट्स के साथ नकुल और उनकी iQOO सोल. गाइस दिस इज द फाइनल. पता नहीं मैं क्यों नर्वस हो रहा हूं. मैं तो खेल भी नहीं रहा हूं, बट आई कैन फील द इंटेंसिटी, आई कैन फील द पैशन. ओमेगा एक टाइम था जब आपके पास टीम तक नहीं थी. आपकी टीम ने अंडर परफॉर्म किया लीग फेज में, एंड अब यू आर इन टचिंग डिस्टेंस ऑफ दैट ट्रॉफी ब्रदर. इमोशंस जो हैं वो क्या चल रहे हैं जहन में?
नहीं, कांस्टेंट ही चल रहा है. मतलब ऐसा ज्यादा एक्साइटेड और वैसे रहेंगे तो शायद चीजें जैसा चाहते हैं वैसे ना हो, बट ऐसा काम माइंड से खेल रहे हैं तो कुछ ऐसा ज्यादा ऊपर नीचे कुछ नहीं है. इमोशंस का सेम ही है, जो कल थे वही आ जाए.
एंड देन आते हैं हमारे एक्सीडेंटल आईजीएल पे. ये एक्सीडेंटल आईजीएल अपनी एक्सीडेंटल लीडरशिप से इस टीम को दहलीज पे ले आया है ऑफ द ट्रॉफी. भाई आपके दिमाग में बहुत कुछ चल रहा होगा अभी तो.
नहीं अभी तो बहुत कुछ नहीं चल रहा है. यही था कि पूरा BGMS स्टार्टिंग से चिल माइंडेड खेले, तो लास्ट डे भी ऐसे ही खेलेंगे ताकि अच्छा खेल सके. बस ओवर थिंकिंग नहीं की किसी ने भी, सारे प्लेयर्स चिल है एकदम, तो बढ़िया है.
इनकी रगों में खून नहीं बर्फ दौड़ रही है. पता नहीं, एटलीस्ट चेहरे पे तो वही लग रहा है हमें. ओमेगा, एंड दिस इज हाउ इट इज राइट. लाइफ हमेशा मुश्किल होती है. अब आप यहाँ खड़े हुए हैं कागार पे ऑफ लिफ्टिंग द ट्रॉफी और सामने है ये. वन टाइम यू गाइज वर अ पार्ट ऑफ द सेम लाइनअप, एंड अब जब नकुल सामने खड़ा हुआ है, जस्ट वंडरिंग ये एक्स से बदले वाली बात है या यू थिंक हिस्ट्री बेकन्स?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ बदले वाली और हिस्ट्री वाला कुछ है नहीं. ऐसा कि इवेंट्स, कई सारे इवेंट ऐसे कि जीतते जीतते रह गए हैं, बहुत गलतियां की है. इस इवेंट में ये ट्राई कर रहे हैं वो गलतियां और कम हों और इस बार ये ट्रॉफी ले ही जाएं. बाकी जो अच्छा खेले वो जीत जाएगा. हम भी पूरी मेहनत कर रहे हैं, पूरे कॉन्फिडेंट है. जो अच्छा खेला वो जीता.
दोनों एक साथ सोल में थे. नाउ यू हैव वन एवरीथिंग राइट. सब कुछ जीता आपने. ऑफिशियल भी जीते हैं, अनऑफिशियल भी जीता. यू हैव इवन वन दिस ट्रॉफी. लेकिन अब एज एन आईजीएल उसके मायने क्या होंगे? बिकॉज इफ यू डू दिस यू बिकम द गोट, द ग्रेटेस्ट ऑफ ऑल टाइम. नकुल,
अभी फर्स्ट टूर्नामेंट है मेजर मेरे लिए एज ए आईजीएल, तो अगर हम ये जीत गए तो मेरे लिए बहुत स्पेशल होगा, सबसे स्पेशल होगा. आई मीन बहुत भी क्या, तो मतलब अभी कुछ वर्ड्स नहीं है मेरे पास. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे जो इंटरव्यू होगा जीतने के बाद तभी कुछ बोलूंगा बस.
ये दोनों यहाँ पे मुझसे बातचीत कर रहे हैं. जो टीम थर्ड पे है ओजी, वो अपना हु कर रहे हैं. मैन, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी द डिसाइडिंग डे. बहुत सारी teams हैं, they can still climb up. We can't wait for the action to begin. सारे matches आज के 4 के 4 being played on the OnePlus 13 लेंगे एक break. And then that first match, the match of nerves, is coming up.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Look, chat, I don't play games when it comes to gaming chairs. Take this one. Doesn't recline. Makes me want to... Good thing I have an Android. Watch Gemini save the day. This chair is squeaking and won't lean back. What's the fix?
To unlock the seat, pull the tilt lever located below it and adjust it to the desired position. To stop the squeaking, tighten the bolts and spray some lubricant on the joints.
Now this is the seat to beat. Okay, cats, time for some chicken dinners.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Within a few moments, the first game of the last day of the BGMS Season 4 will be booting up on the screen, which means Erangel will be on the way soon. And we all know there are still a lot of those teams in the close proximity in the overall standings. The defending champions sold themselves. They're out for that trophy. Knuckle, it's the first time ever in such a major tournament this man's IGLing. And so far, his team's doing incredibly well.
To be honest, it's picked up pretty well from Mane, I'll have to say, because this has been indeed a pretty solid IGLing coming from him. And the way how he enables legit, that is the main thing. That is the main reason why they've been performing.
And speak of performing as well, if you guys want to watch these teams performing from their own perspective, just head on towards the Geo Hotstar. We've got the multicam feature live right now. Watch K9 Esports, OG, Hero Xtreme, Godlike, and even Soul from their own POV. I mean, if you watch Hero Xtreme, Godlike, you know it's pretty much a sinking ship, so I don't exactly know why would you want to watch them. They're pretty much not there contending for the trophy anymore, way too far back in the overall standings.
Hey, come on, man. Don't kill the hopium out there. You have to make sure that 4 main games, 4 chicken dinners, and they can be back in the contention out there. Maybe they can lift the trophy. You know there's a lot
4
of
chicken dinners!
Yeah, let's
Looking
go.
at how they've been playing so far, there's no way. Come on. Sometimes you gotta be realistic. I know I'm a little bit too harsh. I know you guys might think I'm hating, but no, I'm just being realist. I'm just stating the facts and the stats. But hey, something that's going to help you with your gameplay is also going to be the OnePlus 13 itself. That's what the players are playing on, so I'd recommend you guys to check this device out. But without wasting any more time, we're going to head in towards the first game of the day, as the plane's going to be disguised once again. This time, I don't exactly know where it's going to be starting from, but I just hope it's going to be starting for the good.
I really hope so too. For a lot of these teams, they would want a pretty centralized plane fly path to try and make sure that they eventually are able to land up to their main spots. But if that's not the case, that means things are going to be difficult because with the way how I'm seeing it, it's starting all the way towards Georgopol and it is going to end somewhere above the north of Lipovka. And I'm not quite sure that if you're God's Reign, if you're Phoenix Esports, how are you going to make that climb towards Ferry Pier and Sosnovka military base?
I mean, for Revenant X SPARK now making that overall pounds towards their own drop location, it's going to be tough. They like to drop around that Milta, sometimes even Farms vicinity. So let's see how Revenant X SPARK is going to be gliding their way towards that side.
Yeah.
We might see a few clashes as well. Revenant X SPARK once again locking horns with Hero Xtreme Godlike. Well, that can be the highlights.
That definitely could be out here. Now, one of the big things is that we are not really seeing Soul drop in any way towards Zarki right now. They're going to be dropping towards their school drop. Yesterday, we did actually see them drop towards Zarki and take that drop clash against the members of Godlike in that last game. But one of the big reasons for that was school was not really in the plane fly path, so it was a bit far away. They'd not be having any kind of problem out here. Same is the case for K9. So they're going to be pretty happy with this plane. But I'm not quite sure about the circle because that is going to play the main game. And I'm pretty sure we might possibly see a southern circle.
You've also got OG dropping around that Rozhok and the Water City side. And yes, the circle panning a little bit down south. Still, I would say it's quite a centric shift. Not exactly centric, I would say a standard shift. It's not something we have seen completely new or for the first time. We have been looking at these type of zone shifts for a long time. So it's still quite a standard one. We do have Revenant X SPARK right in the smack center. They've got the prime positioning as of now.
They'll be trying to hold their own position down as well. But here's the big thing, right? Even yesterday they had similar circle as well, but they were not really able to hold their position down. They lost Trace Scott early on. I still remember he was somewhere around Milta Power when OG made their rotation towards that part and they eventually picked him off and things were looking bleak for RNTX. Had they performed pretty well in that game, I think so they would have still been a bit more closer in those rankings and not really sitting on just 56 points right now, 31 points away from K9. That means you need at least one game to close in the gap and second game to try and take the lead. And K9 has to drop both those games.
True that. Overall, with how things are looking like, it definitely does seem like we might just see things getting fired up. And that's what's happening. Sinewy Esports, they're getting pounced on by the foes at the front, and still Ninja's replying back pretty well. But a well-tossed nade's going to stop the man himself in tracks. And Ninja's going to be eliminated from the game instantly. For Nebula, they do lose out on Phoenix in return, but at least they were able to capitalize instantly. So it's a 1-for-1 trade.
1-for-1 out early on, looking at the position where they are in. I'm not quite sure if they would have wanted that to happen. 41 points out there. Literally 46 points behind K9 Esports. So if they're looking for the trophy, that's a very far shot. If they're looking for the podium, now that's something that they can eventually focus on. Because again, let's be honest, the majority chunk of that prize pool is going to the first placing team, and then it's going to significantly drop for the second, third, and fourth placing team. So it's literally the trophy which you want to eye out. Anything apart from that is just barely some extra money.
The zone's quite standard. The plane flat path wasn't extremely bad. That's one of the main reasons why we're not really seeing a lot of fights happening, right?
Yeah.
Phoenix Esports, they've started things off with just a 3-man squad. What's going on with them?
Yeah, that's, again, a player not being able to join in.
Time, I guess?
Not exactly. There's a different reason, but it's a genuine reason.
Whatever it is, man.
It's unfortunate.
Having a 3-man squad, that too in the grand finals, it is probably one of the worst things that can happen.
I mean, they've only got 30 points out here.
But I guess somewhere down the line, Phoenix Esports knew that they cannot make a comeback anyways in the overall standing, so they anyways just gave up. And probably focus on the upcoming tournaments. That's what they're going to be doing, I guess.
Probably.
Which kind of makes sense, but still if you think about it, every tournament matters, right? There's a lot of money up for grabs. If Phoenix Esports finds themselves even in the top 5, still the money can be amped up.
And I think so top 5 is still up in contention, man. Like literally one chicken dinner away. One decent chicken dinner away. But this is the big thing,
man.
Yeah, playing with 3 men up and early on, that is where the problem begins.
Let's be honest, right? In the grand finals, usually in the final 2 games, it's quite easy to snatch away chicken dinner. You see a lot of those fights happening off the rip. And if you want to just snatch away chicken dinner, play it passive. Stay away from the chaos, avoid all the early game fights, and you can easily snatch away chicken dinner. And that's something maybe Hero Xtreme, Godlike, and Infinix Esports taken advantage of.
There's an interesting thing that I'm seeing right now, and it seems like there's going to be something that might happen all the way over towards north in Severny. That would be the members of Middle trying to grab the opportunity of holding down the members of K9 out there. While over towards those western frays is where Nebula and NoNx are playing. They've basically been on a cat and mouse chase for quite a while out here right now. And we've been talking about some teams who've dropped the ball, right? NoNx is also one of that team that topped the charts out in the league stages. No one expected them to be in those top 4 when the league week was ending.
True.
And they were in the bottom 5, eventually made their climb in week number 2 towards the top 12, and then made that big bounce in week 3 into the top 4, and then dropping the ball in grand finals.
I know, right? Not performing when it matters the most, getting gassed out in the early phase of a tournament, which is not a good thing. You should always conserve yourself.
Yeah.
And I guess the main reason why NoNx is now getting countered so easily, it's also because they revealed all their tricks and traits quite early. In the league stage itself, they were just smashing down teams, getting those chicken dinners, and for a moment, they were also the center of attraction. And now look at them, a team that directly qualified in the top 4 from the league stage. They're not even in the top 4 of the grand finals.
And the bottom 4, literally. Topping the charts of the bottom 4 out here right now. So, that has been not fortunate for them, but if you think that your fortune favors you, ladies and gentlemen, you can definitely spend and unlock the next Sinistra set. Starts at only 10 UC from the Google Play Store. Make sure that you grab that opportunity because it's limited time only, so you don't want to miss out.
Of course. But hey, you know, I've always been taught in school and also by my parents, you should always be happy. Try to look at the positive side. Try to look at the brighter side. So if you're a fan of the teams in the bottom half, just turn your phone upside down. That team will be at the top.
Oh my god. I'm pretty sure almost 100,000 people would eventually be doing that. Not naming the team, but you'd probably know.
Hey, it can also be Infinix Esports, Los Hermanos, NoNx, anyone.
Or the names that are not being taken out here. No, but you mentioned about MyG Los Hermanos. Again, I wanted to talk about that team as well a bit. They had so much aggression out there early on in the league week. Yeah, it's like they were unstoppable. And then you eventually look at them in the grand finals. They're nowhere to be seen. And this is where I've actually liked the gameplay of True Rippers. They have been so consistent throughout the league stages, throughout the semi-finals. They haven't been the flashiest, but they have always been present.
True that. For MyG Los Hermanos, they're kind of like a lurking spirit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're not there, but at the same time, they're there, if that makes sense. In week 1, yes, they were like demons, just devouring souls after souls, just ripping everyone apart. But then the moment week 2 hit, something happened to Los Hermanos. We saw that playstyle shift. Los Hermanos was trying to implement something new, and that just clearly did not work out. That ruthless aggression was something that was working out pretty well for them. But the moment they gave up that aggression, things stopped working out for them. Maybe sometimes you do not really need to fix what's not broken.
I agree.
That's what a lot of these teams need to understand. And maybe that's what even Godlike needs to understand. Why would you keep a man like Admina on the back step? That's what I personally feel, and that's what is happening.
Oh my, there's a man who's always on the front step right now. It's going to be Kyo. True Rippers that's just destroying the members of Nebula who were caught in that rotation. They've been chased by the members of NoNx out here. And this time around, got a couple of players out in the open, just being absolutely destroyed. Such a big problem out here. NoNx losing one of their members. Kyo's spray was impeccable.
It indeed was, but True Rippers, they really do not want to let go of the tracks of the foes. NoNx still trying to make that run away from this territory, and True Rippers making sure that they will feel their wrath. What a precise spray that was from Kyo. Yep. Yeah, the man does get knocked out, but it's completely fine. Still, he can be revived. It's not even a question.
Oh.
We do have that man from Sinewy Esports. Wish you in the close proximity. He can definitely be the one to punish the players of True Rippers. He's found himself pinned behind the rock. Mox is also there in the back lines, and Sinewy, they definitely are looking for a lot of smoke. Wishu, he does get the confirmation on iQOO. And True Ripper's realizing the fact that now iQOO is going to be impossible to save. It's better to just back away and play a safe game, which makes a lot of sense as well.
It's out in the open. Blue is going to be pushing up. It's better to go towards those western frays and then sit there trying to zone camp the other side. That's what we might see right now, but problems are not really being solved for the members of Sinewy, as there's also God's Rain right behind them. They've got to focus down out there. Make sure that they don't really spend a lot of time out in the open, because NoNx did that and they eventually lost their members.
Mind you, Los Hermanos, even they've got 0 points so far. From NoNx, this game is done for. No way they can make a bounce back now. I'm not even sure what exactly happened to NoNx at this point in the Grand Finals. What exactly changed? NoNx is getting dismantled over and over again. The past 2 days, they haven't been for NoNx. This day as well, it starts off terribly for NoNx. Things cannot be any worse. The next zone's going to shift right around the players of IG Los Hermanos. This has to be their game. Even K9 Esports is there in the close proximity. And how does K9 Esports always finds themselves in a good spot?
And this is one of the big things. Milta Power is entirely empty. So they can have that entire Eastern Hemisphere for themselves, while every other team would eventually have to fight for the centric or a little bit off-centric control towards the north, west or south. I absolutely love what K9 are doing. They've cleared those frays and now moving down south as well of the circle, making sure that they've got those shoreline control. Because the teams in the center would eventually be firing a lot of shots against each other, and that's exactly what's happening against REVENANT X SPARK.
Infinix Esports. Justin with an aid. He's looking to toss it in the compound in the front. They toss though, no connection found yet. Justin's just going to back away from that spot. Infinix Esports starting things off with just a 3-man squad. And at this point, no matter whatever I say, for Infinix Esports, I'm pretty sure they just don't care. So I'm not even going to talk about them too much here. But for REVENANT X SPARK, those can be good points right there. 3 points lingering right in front of you. You already got the default man advantage in the fight. REVENANT X SPARK can go ahead and claim that. Fierce has been feeling himself recently in the Grand Finals. He should utilize that form. But it makes a lot of sense why REVENANT X SPARK is not playing too aggressive. Sometimes revealing all of your cards is not the way you should be playing.
This entire position right now for both of these teams is like a stalemate. Hasn't really got them any kind of opening now, but Jatin again finding a knock on Sensei. This could definitely mean that they're going to have an opportunity to try and pounce on the rest of the targets, as Sensei was out alone. The confirmation should flow instantly, yeah. That's the first knock as well as the confirmation as well. So REVENANT X SPARK, now they're going to be handicapped.
There's no way that just happened. REVENANT X SPARK, how did you lose out on Sensei in that battle? And my question is, why is Sensei peeking like that?
That too, when he is alone, he knows that.
And now it's a 3v3 fight. Out of nowhere, Infinix Esports, they stand a chance. REVENANT X SPARK with just a 3-man squad. Fury, Fierce, and Trace. 3 assaulters. Yes, on paper it does seem like it should be more than enough, but we all know a proper 3v3 fight, it can be anyone's way. At least they've got the confirmation, so Sensei is completely eliminated from the game now.
Yeah.
You've also got Global Esports on the tail, and REVENANT X SPARK, if they can't, just back away. In the front, there's Infinix Esports. On the back, you've got Global Esports. You're surrounded by too many teams. The next zone's going to be centering on up once again in the open fields. K9 Esports, they found themselves around the edges. Then you've also got IG Los Hermanos in this max center once again. Genesis Esports holding down the off-centric part. Here at Xtreme. Godlike as well around that same territory. For God's Reign. With just a 3-man squad, I'm not sure what the game plan's now going to be, but let's see. Things can still be recovered. True Ripper's losing out on the man. It's not a good end at all. You're supposed to kick things off with a bang in the game 1 itself, but True Ripper's losing out on the game 1. That's going to be the salt on top of the wounds. A bad start.
They were making some of the mad dash rotations out there in the open, which I could not really make the sense of.
Oh my god. Look what's going on here, though. Phoenix Esports! They're making that bounce against Global Esports. How did this happen? Ash is also taking a lot of hurt upon himself from the team across the fray. But Global Esports, they might just be dismantled soon! Ash, what am I watching? How is he doing this? Back-to-back 2 confirmations from Ash. This man is single-handedly shutting down Global Esports. This is the Ash we all wanted to see in the league stages. The man's back. Let's see if he can continue his run and wrath. Molotov, that's going to be more than enough to get the knockout against Ash, and as Ash is knocked out, SprayGod's going to push up and get the confirmation for Global Esports, the chance to make that comeback. It's now down the drain.
Global Esports is not going to get any more opportunities out here right now. Ash just destroyed those hopes. Down to the last 2 players, and I'd have to say that jump shot was impeccable. Even though the members of REVENANT X SPARK were still firing on him out from the open fray. Still, they were able to find an opportunity out there, but a nasty knock coming in from Joker. You do not want to challenge this man time and time again from the exact same angle. He will destroy your head.
That was disgusting from Ash. But yeah, Soul Goblin. Joker's managed to get 1 confirmation point so far for REVENANT X SPARK. It's not looking like a good fight at all. They've already lost out in Fierce. You've got Goblin as well, leading the pack. The entirety of Soul still standing alive. They're playing on the edge on the left side. And REVENANT X SPARK, they're already taking too much damage upon themselves, constantly getting chipped by the players of Soul. A few more utilities tossed out in the hopes of finding some sort of semblance and some sort of knock. But it's not really finding that connection yet.
This game is looking more or less like an 18-19 point chicken dinner game, because the maximum fights are happening over towards those western frays.
Yeah.
And then eventually you're going to have a small cluster that's forming in towards the northern part, and then a few teams spread around here and there.
Pretty much the same thing, right? This game feels like a raw competitive game without any sort of bonus cards.
Exactly.
But hold on to that thought. Soul! Oh, REVENANT X SPARK making that unorthodox pounce. Goblin does find 1, but he instantly gets traded 2. And it was his own teammate's nade as well. Joker! He nades Goblin. A massive mishap, but at least still things are under control, so it's all good in the hood. Global Esports across the road, they can't really do anything. They cannot even prioritize the fight yet, so no third party will be there. But for Soul, they definitely do want to get the confirmation. There's another man right across the road, so they also need to be careful of that player. And there's another man right around the corner as well in the second house. Fury, the man's just waiting for the right moment to strike, and let's not forget, yesterday Fury had some glorious moments.
Absolutely.
He's behind that window. He does spot the players of Soul out in the open. Goblin's taking a lot of damage upon himself, and Fury peeks out. Position reveal, Fury's already taken a lot of damage upon himself, but Soul, they're making a massive mistake. Fury given a chance to fight back in this entire game. And Soul for them now, they need to shut down this one last man of REVENANT X SPARK. They do have things under control.
They've got to bring Legend back up on his feet right now. SprayGod was also firing the shots against the members of Soul, and that's why they were forced to make that kind of unorthodox bounce. But we've also got the members of Genesis now who are going to be stopping them, gatekeeping them from making any kind of entry in the circle. So even though Soul won this fight, it came at a massive cost of positional disadvantage.
Look at OG, they're playing this so smart.
Yep.
While all of this is going on, OG's keeping themselves silent. Just trying to go with the flow, just trying to let the game pace take over. But VXT, yeah, for them, they've got a lot of problems brewing up. It's K9 Esports making that pounce. For K9 Esports, they need these points. But they've been eliminated from the game. A massive blunder. The team on the first spot not able to secure a lot of points as K9 eliminated on the 11th spot. That means no placement points either.
Just 2 finish points out there, and that's not the power play points. It was all the way left out in the open, as well as even Soul will be stopped from making any pounds. It's the members of Middle who will send them back home. The top 2 teams eliminated. The board is open now.
Yeah, it can't be anyone's game. Middle Esports, Termi and Aimbot, the final 2 men standing. And genuinely speaking, for Middle Esports, yeah, looking at the position they've got, of course, it does seem quite good on paper, but I highly doubt converting that into a good game is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Nebula Esports. They just back away. Kratos did push up close and personal. Tossed a few nade. And then just backed away.
They don't really have the numbers out there. And again, it's a pretty risky position to be at. They don't want to find versatiles, all 4 players crosshair towards you. So he just backs off towards the safety. This next circle is going to be pretty crucial though, because it's going to force the teams to eventually take those fights out here. You look at the position of Godlike right in the center. Just 1 elimination point right now for them. It's absolutely fine. Nothing apart from that. But if you look at the position of VXT, they're going to be fired from 2 different directions. It's going to be MyG, yes, and that's exactly where Carlin is as he sends out a nade. Plus on the other side, you've got the members of Nebula. So this is going to be a problem.
It's massive pickle. It does seem like the players of VXT are pinched. How are they going to break through this deadlock, though?
What is OG doing?
Carlin constantly tossing out the utilities in the hopes of finding at least 1 knock. As you mentioned, OG still playing it quite silent. They've unfortunately lost out in AKOP as they wanted to make that rotation and the pounce inside of the circle in a better spot. But for VXT, with just a 3-man squad now, sustaining this spot just gets even tougher. And they also need to rotate inside of the circle, so it's even worse now. Genesis Esports, they find themselves in the prime spot. Even here, Xtreme Godlike, they find themselves in the prime spot. If Genesis Esports does get the chicken dinner, there's a big chance they might just spring back to life.
That could be big, specifically considering their position right now. 52 points, yes, but a big 20-point game would eventually pull themselves back up in that race. They'll be just 10 points behind. Right now, Spray God is also desperately trying to get as many points as possible for his team. But the thing is, he can eventually ruin things up for MyG Los Hermanos, as they will have to make the move. 4 more seconds for Blue to do its own thing. And it's going to be the stage 6 Blue. It is going to do a lot of damage to you.
Global Esports, they just make a run back.
GG's.
It's just 1 man from Global Esports, and the man's trying his best to survive for as long as possible. He knows the burden's on his shoulder. He needs to carry the team's flag till the end. But as of now, for OG, problems, they strike. It's Spray God who finds that knock and gets the confirmation as well. OG's glimmers of hope are now starting to fade away. They've only got 2 more men standing in the back lines. What can OG do? They're barely squeezing themselves inside of the circle, and it's Spray God, this 1 man. He's been an absolute menace to everyone. At the start, he was taking shots against Soul. Later on, does get eliminated. But still, he spoiled games for so many teams.
You talk about OG, he spoiled the games. You talk about MyG Los Hermanos as well. He's at least made sure that there's going to be blow to them. OG will eventually be firing a few more shots against those same players right now, but the return fire is coming in instantly as it's also Atanki down and out. OG, they had a big opportunity to close the gap, but they've dropped the ball big time again. Just 3 finishes for them. If they get eliminated here, they're going to get a couple of placement points, but that's about it.
All the top teams on the verge of being eliminated. It's just OG that's currently alive from the top 5. And to be honest, for the teams at the bottom, it's a bit too late to make a bounce back now.
But this could be a pretty solid game for God's Reign.
Of course it can be. And if God's Reign does end up winning this game, it's also going to make sure they propel themselves directly around the top 4, which is massive if you think about it. But Nebula, to make the mad dash and get caught off guard by the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. That's going to be the confirmation. The entirety of Nebula now is down and dusted from the game.
It's falling down the timing of those rotations, and right now, there are certain IGLs who are making those late rotations into the circle, and that is not helping them. The exact problem was faced by the members of True Rippers when Jelly gave in the rotation call, being fired from multiple directions. Same problem for Shadow as well. As the circle shifted away from them, they did not take the fight against MyG Los Hermanos. They just tried to make a mad dash inside of the circle. And this has been the problem for a lot of these teams. They're not taking the fights which they're supposed to take.
The zone is constantly shifting on Genesis and Hero Xtreme Godlike. And since Hero Xtreme Godlike, if I'm not wrong, they've got all the 4 players still standing. And if Hero Xtreme Godlike is not able to convert this game into a good one, I don't know what's going to help them now. This has to be a Hero Xtreme Godlike's game, or at least be in the top 2 with a lot of elimination points. Start cleaning up teams now. God's Reign's on the tail. That's another one of those teams. That's going to be massive threat. Middle Esports as well on the northern side. Maybe they can possess a lot of threat as well. But Hero Xtreme Godlike, they have to start hammering down teams. Looking at the amount of elimination points they've got so far, it's not sustainable. With these amount of elimination points, they will still be at the bottom. But MyG Los Hermanos, all the 4 players standing with 4 eliminations racked up, they're looking good and dandy. But they just want to make a rotation inside of the circle in a safe manner. How can they do that, though? No possible compounds available, no good ridges to play with. There's that one man from OG just lying around. And he's somehow still making it alive, by the way.
Oh my goodness, Kalan. Nice single taps out there in the open.
Wow!
He also gets the confirmation. The expectation is just precariously good. MyG Los Hermanos racking up their 5th finish out here. But here's the thing. I agree with the statement you said. They've got to make a decision right now to move in as God's Reign. They try to make their own pounce as well, but it's the blue that's actually their nemesis. And instantly they get destroyed by going in the arms of Termi.
Why did God's Reign go for such a late game rotation? They were already so chipped with the blue. What?
It's just sometimes God's Reign stuff, man. You never really understand that.
They got chipped so low by the blue, and then they made a late rotation as well. They should have moved up like 10 seconds before.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, God's Reign, because of that late game rotation, now it's their demise. If they would have made that rotation 10 seconds before, maybe they could have had a proper chance to take that fight against Middle Esports and potentially come out on top as well.
Dummy.
If they would have got their hands on this Rich, things could have been so much better. But for Hero Xtreme Godlike, it's a chance to grab a massive game. And if they lose out on this chance, I don't know what's going to help them anymore. They do have a decent bit of placement points, though. All the 4 players still on the cards. Middle Esports lost out an aimbot a while ago, but Termi's the only man standing now. And Termi definitely can't feel all of that pressure. But soon Termi will need to leave that comfort zone and move out in the open, and that's where Termi will catch a lot of hurt.
I've been absolutely loving the position of MyG Los Hermanos. Yes, they're in the dip. Yes, there could be some nade parades coming in from Godlike. But now they've got a very solid opportunity to stop the members of Genesis as they will try to make that pounce. But the big thing is, this means Godlike can go for the third party and they will get the check-in. And as the nade parade goes and if Hunter falls, Genesis will lose their main fight.
But Genesis just backing away from that, Rich.
They will have to force this fight either way, as I've got no clue why they're backing off.
Let's see, though. You never know. Maybe Genesis Esports is trying to pave a good pathway.
There is none.
If MyG Los Hermanos end up locking horns with Hero Xtreme Godlike, then things can be better. And Hero Xtreme Godlike, for that to happen, they need to be impatient. So let's see if Hero Xtreme Godlike is really impatient enough. If Hero Xtreme Godlike messes up, Genesis gets a second chance to life. Hunters is taken down extremely low. Admino's just waiting for the right moment. He's waiting for someone to peek out from that angle. But no one from Genesis is doing so. They're playing a picture-perfect game so far. Zap up top, around the windows. Admino trying to constantly peek out from this window as well. He wants to dish out a bit of that damage to the players of Genesis Esports. That's the only team that can stop Hero Xtreme Godlike in their tracks. MyG Los Hermanos spotting out the players of Genesis Esports, and now that man Yash, he's trapped. Even the blue's gonna start chipping out a lot of damage. He's got nowhere to go. MyG Los Hermanos ready with the nades, primed. Termi's able to find that crucial knock as Gravity gets knocked out.
Oh!
Genesis Esports, they're getting bombarded from all the different angles. There's no way they can make it alive now. The blue's on the move. Genesis forced to make a run. Where can they go? They've got nowhere to go. Blue is shutting down Genesis Esports. They're like a feast waiting to be grabbed by everyone. And even Metal Esports is now taking advantage of that. Termi able to survive in the top 2. That is insane if you think about it. But you've still got a team like MyG Los Hermanos that is alive. And I'm pretty sure Termi is going to try to keep his position anonymous, but no, his position is now known.
Yeah.
And Hero Xtreme Godlike, they're going to try to isolate this duel first.
They have to do that right now. They've got to finish off Termi. And the first aid! They could not apply it on time, but it's absolutely fine, alright. Still gonna try and survive though, but the nade from Jonathan will finally do its job. It's a 4v4 battle, and I love what MyG has done. A smoke wall up in front of them as Godlike will make the bounce.
Godlike, yes, they definitely are getting impatient, but even MyG Los Hermanos, they're getting pushed up by the zone. getting pushed outside of their comfort zone constantly, and MyG Los Hermanos now with just a two-man squad. Can they really make a bounce back in the fight?
What a nade.
With just two players standing here, Xtreme, Godlike, they've got the man advantage and dismantling MyG Los Hermanos. Hero, Xtreme, Godlike, they start things off with a massive bag. It's a start for a massive comeback. But still, the task is way too far away. Oh my god. Here Xtreme, Godlike has kicked things off with a chicken dinner. But the amount of points they've got, it's not enough to keep them around the top dogs. They're still going to be in the latter half.
It's a fight against a giant, and they've finally managed to scratch him. But it's as you mentioned, the wound is not deep enough for them to try and inflict anything. They're going to be brushing it off instantly right now, as after such a long time in the grand finals, they find something. But here's the thing, at least they find something. And also the fact that the top teams, they eventually lost out. That means the middle pack has got the opportunity to close in the gap.
Slow and steady moves, buddy. Slow and steady moves. But the main problem is now they've only got 3 games to make that comeback. Which sounds horrible, to be honest. Here Xtreme, Godlike, if they would have played the same way in day 1 and day 2, well, we might have just seen them around the top dogs already. We might have just seen them around the top 3. They woke up late, but yes, at least they woke up, so that's a good thing. If Hero Xtreme, Godlike gets a second chicken dinner in the upcoming map, maybe they still have a chance to be the champions. But for now, let's move on to the stage with a quick interview.
You have heard this. Johnny.
Yes, Papa.
Losing hope?
No, bilkul nahi.
Dude, chicken dinner on day 3. You were 16th on the leaderboard. Johnny, I've been talking to people. हमने messages भी पढ़े हैं. हम जहाँ पे हैं वहाँ अरीना के बाहर भी बहुत सारे fans जो हैं वो आए हैं. And they seem very confident. You have taken the first step. क्या ट्रॉफी के लिए अब भी वो उम्मीदें जो हैं वो बरकरार हैं?
See, to be honest, जैसे esports, anything can happen. कुछ भी हो सकता है. अभी पहला गेम हमने चिकन निकाल लिया. क्या पता कि आगे के मैचेस में भी we'll remove the chicken and climb the table वापस से. So यार, this is esports, so anything is possible.
Johnny, जैसे मैंने कहा कि आपने पहला कदम जो है वो उठा लिया है, but now you got 3 matches. And man, you really have to climb not just a mountain, you have to probably climb Mount Everest. और वो बहुत मुश्किल होने वाला है क्योंकि अगर आपने ये ट्रॉफी जीतनी है, अगर वो ख्वाब पूरा करना है, you'll basically have to ace every game.
So आज भी हमने वही प्लान किया है. बहुत हमारे फैमिली जो बोलूंगा, फैंस नहीं बोलूंगा, so उन्होंने बहुत मोटिवेट किया कि come on guys, you can do it. So आज we sat down, we planned things कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं. So this is just the first match which is over. So fingers crossed और 3 matches बचे. So as we plan, अगर वैसा हो गया तो we'll be at the top of the table.
बहुत विनम्रता से अब वो सारे जो फैंस जिनको जॉनी फैमिली कह रहा है उनसे मैं दरखास्त करूंगा, तोड़ दो इंटरनेट, मचा दो हलचल. टेकिंग अ ब्रेक एंड कमिंग बैक फॉर मैच 2.
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, Pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards. Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Cha-cha real smooth as the hopes for 100,000 people still stay alive, maybe? One game chicken? You may never know if the next three go in their favor as well, but let's talk about the elephant in the room right now, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Phoenix up with me, and you already know I'm not really talking about you as the elephant in the room. Don't worry about it. The main thing is K9 dropping the ball in that game.
Yeah.
Soul dropping the ball in that game.
Certainly.
OG dropping the ball in that game. That has basically paved the way for teams like Xtreme, teams like the ones who were in the middle of the pack as well, even Global Esports, to finally move slowly and steadily up.
That is going to be an important point to be talk about. Yes, Global Esports, they were looking for this particular match like this, like a way, the game happened, and now they have all the hopes high for other teams too. The way team Hero Xtreme Godlike played, all right, every single person has a different, opinion about that. But to be honest, yes, the circle was favoring them, but eventually we all know if the circle favors you, it's you who have to take the fights.
But this is the big thing, right? Yes, it's one game the circle was constantly favoring you along with Genesis, and that is one of the big reasons why we've finally seen them pick up that chicken dinner. The next few games will not be so forgiving for you. So you'd eventually have to find a way to try and move in. You eventually would have to find a way to perform like the man on the screen right now from MyG, Los Hermanos, Kalan. But the thing is, he's got the maximum finishes for his team, 5 finishes, 71% contribution.
I think it's a storyline for MyG Los Hermanos.
I guess so, yeah.
Because every single time it's going to be Kalan always getting the frags for his team and eventually getting the most finishes for his teammates. But alright, if it happens, if it helps you, that's good for you. Joker on the other side getting the best companion title for himself, rescuing 2 of his teammates. On the other side, and Mino getting 2 finishes for himself and also providing 2 assists. The important factor is only 8.4 kilometers distance traveled.
That's one of the big things, right? I also wanted to talk about Soul a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because they were over towards the western side.
Yeah.
That's where they overcommitted onto the fight with REVENANT X SPARK.
Yeah, they did.
Eventually lost a few members and lost their opportunity to move back in zone. And I don't think so that's just a Soul problem. I think so. This has been a very big issue with a lot of these teams who know that there is a certain fight which they need to take, and then they need to prioritize the rotation, but they always fail to do that.
That is going to be a huge problem every single time, as you just mentioned, right? For most of the teams who don't know how to prioritize in a fight and which fight is eventually good for you. But to be honest, moving forward with the game, alright, it's and we can't just justify by the fact that alright, that's going to be a learning curve. No, that's not going to be a learning curve. That's your eventually decision making.
Exactly. And
so, let's see, man.
I think so. That is one of the big issues right now. There are teams who eventually pick the right fights and then they get the chicken dinner. But for this game, as we also saw in the highlights itself from the OnePlus never settle moments, it was Godlike getting the help of the circle throughout the stage 6, 7, 8 and 9 right now. That's why we are seeing them with a total of 19 points. I don't think so that is enough right now to propel them all the way up. Still a fighting chance, maybe, but Pretty decent points coming in for MyG Los Hermanos, but it's middle who I really want to focus on.
Exactly. That's going to be a point. I was about to talk about the players in middle. Yesterday, in the first game, and in the both Erangel and Miramar, they struggled hard. They don't even know how to work as a team. They were just completely clueless. And after the third game, they eventually realized, all right, we have to bounce back. We have to showcase that, yes, we got the medal in our name and we need that trophy for ourselves. But if we talk about the leaderboard, OnePlus K9 Esports still on the top, but the difference is only 7 points, and then you can see a drop of total, approximately 11 points of iQOO Orangutan with 71 total points.
Absolutely. 64 for True Ripper, 63 for middle, thanks to that previous game, and God's Reign, they'll be sitting on 59. So not a lot of teams being able to make that bounce, but this is where my, focus is going to be 57 till 50. Yes, they're still behind by around 30 points per se, but at least they've now got an opportunity to try and make their way in the rankings.
That is one of the most interesting chart, by the way. One good game for all these teams, Sinewy, Nebula, Hero Xtreme, Godlike, NoNx, Infinix. If they manage to, at least collect minimum 15 points, yes, they are good to go. They are going to be on the first page. But that's not how things works actually. The first page teams should struggle, and we don't want that.
That's the main thing, right? The first page teams will have to drop the ball.
Yeah.
Only then will they be able to close that gap out here right now. So you've got to do a lot of preparation. You've got to put in a lot of work. And if you are doing a lot of preparation and work, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you put in some preparation for the Duolingo English test as well. We've always talked about it throughout the league week, throughout the playoffs, even in the semi-finals. We mentioned this. That test is accepted by 6,000 universities worldwide, people. So pro players pick the smarter test, and that's going to be the Duolingo English test. Now with that beautiful bird having its own fun time out there, we're going to be talking about our own fun time that's we're going to witness on the map of Miramar out here right now, because that is going to be another map to make that comeback. But ladies and gentlemen, will the teams make that comeback? We'll get to know after we come back from this break.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Look, chat, I don't play games when it comes to gaming chairs. Take this one. Doesn't recline. Makes me want to... Good thing I have an Android. Watch Gemini save the day. This chair is squeaking and won't lean back. What's the fix?
To unlock the seat, pull the tilt lever located below it and adjust it to the desired position. To stop the squeaking, tighten the bolts and spray some lubricant on the joints.
Now this is the seat to beat. Okay, cats, time for some chicken dinners.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
A big thing's happening here, ladies and gentlemen, and one of that big thing is going to be the Deadpool and the Wolverine version of the most wicked ride yet, featuring first in segment GTD boost mode, best in class talk, and a cluster loaded with 85 plus features to keep you connected on the go. Make sure you check out the TVS rides out here as we check out the games of all of these teams. Man, K9 not really getting a lot of points, still holding that first position. They're going to be focusing on the next game now.
They really should, because the difference between them and the squad is on the second spot. That's going to be iQOO Seoul. You have only 7 points difference, and that 7 point has to be the one. It should be the decider itself if you are looking forward for that trophy. Just look at that beautiful trophy right in the center of the stage. But we are moving forward with the map of Miramar, and it's going to be a crazy one for sure.
Definitely should be a crazy one, even for the members of Seoul, right? Because they're still trying to focus down all the way towards getting that first spot. And if you want to see how focused they are, then you can absolutely use the multicam feature on Geo Hotstar. And also, you can try and watch K9, Orangutan. If you are still one of the members of the Hopium gang, you might as well want to watch Godlike out there. Chicken Dinner in the first one, maybe. We can see them pull off in the second one too.
I think so. Necro is doing the same thing. He's just looking forward that how Hero Extreme Godlike is playing with the multicam feature. Yeah, he's doing that. Trust me.
I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be checking out the Deadpool version of that. He gets pick and trade.
Hey, that's mine! I got dibs on that.
Get out of here, bro. There's also Shadow sitting in the line. Get in line out here. As we get in line to witness what's going to happen on the map of Miramar, people. The plane hits the skies yet again, all the way starting from up north of La Cabrera, going down south towards Puerto Paraíso. Now this plane fly path is dividing the map entirely in half, Phoenix.
Certainly, it is. Still favoring a little bit towards the eastern side of the map, but alright, it works. But the teams who tend to drop towards Shumasera, yes, it is glidable, yes, it's reachable, you can easily move towards that. True reports, I have keeping an eye on that squad. But my next question is going to be where the circle will form. Team Seoul already moving towards their perfect drop, and we all know that they tend to opt for the split. The circle is, the plane path is already providing them that opportunity to just go for that big split right off from the get-go. But, alright, one more question. Despite of the fact Phoenix is playing with the 3-man squad, will they fight against the players of God's Reign? Because both the teams, their drop location was same. I don't think so that's going to happen.
My man is playing KBC out here without giving me the prize pool, and that too alone with asking and answering the questions together. But here's the big thing now. You're talking about Phoenix, if they'd be able to perform pretty well, man. That's the main thing, right? Whenever you are a 3-man squad, yeah, things get pretty difficult for you because you directly become a little bit more passive because you know there's 4 people on the other side. So you need to get a knock only to get things equalized. That means you're not only revealing the position of one of the players, you're also threatening the other team to eventually push on to you after getting those knocks or at least get that attention over there. But the circle has our attention out here right now. Pretty centralized, a little bit over towards the northwestern fray, but there's a drop clash happening in Picardo yet again.
Yesterday the same thing happened. It was Team REVENANT X SPARK also near the similar compounds of Picardo. But Sinewy and NoNx, they decided that they will pretty accept with this drop clash. They don't, go back and just sit back themselves and avoid this fight for now. Viper, he found Mooks, and that's the end for that lad.
That's a very early knock and finish coming in. The first one. You talk about Viper, he strikes hard with that Venom. Never really want to be caught out there in the open, but that's exactly what's happened with Sinewy. And Sinewy has also been on that struggling end, man, because this was the team that surprised all of us in BGCS by being in that top 4. I still remember long time ago when Moksha was the member of the lineup of iFlakes, eventually moving to the Hyderabad Hydras lineup, and now being a part of this. So he's got that experience. He's got the boys, but it still ain't working for them.
To be honest, Moksha is one of the most aggressive IGL I know.
Yeah, I've heard the words.
Itself. Yeah, he never backs down. He just have that one thing in mind. All right, we spots out the enemy. Yeah, the enemy is right in front of our eyes. Let's shut them down. That's the mentality how Moksha works. But for now, he bites the dust. That's the end for him. He's the first frag of this particular Miramar. But would love to see how Sinewy will react and approach towards the game. The next fight I'm expecting, it's going to be mighty Los Hermanos versus the players of VXT. And yes, before I can even say out the name, Kalan, he's not anymore in this server. The previous MVP is done.
Kalan, the man who's got his own creativity in his own name. being the first one to be destroyed out there, and VXT with this aggression, that's exactly what they need right now. A bare minimum of a 25-26 point chicken dinner game, and they're going to be quickly moving themselves up in that ranking itself. Yesterday when they were playing on the map of Miramar, it did not go well. It was K9 who eventually shut them down early on as they were caught apart. So I really like what they're really doing right now. All the way down south of Minas Generalis towards La Bendita. They'll be making sure that they maintain the control of that area at least, the southeastern part.
And alright, if we talk about the circle, the moment we can see the minimap on front of our eyes, for now, for the audience too, look at the map control iQOO Soul has. They got the El Pozo, they got the creator fields, they got the La Copperia, they got the water treatment, they have everything for now to work with. So they have the best advantage right now.
It's going to take one circle shift to take all of that and render all of that users out here right now. But things are not looking dandy for Manya. Getting caught out there in the open. It's Nebula to answer back. We've seen these two teams collide multiple times in terms of the rotations. It seems like both the IGLs, they've kind of got those similar ideas of where they really want to rotate from. And it's not just the map of Miramar. It's also happened on the map of Erangel, where they barely avoided each other. And again, if we're talking about Nebula, right, another team that came in from BGCS, we all had our hopes up, at least after what Adi said in the interview.
Yeah.
For the playoffs itself, mentioning that even if we've hopped in from CS, don't underestimate us. Performance is otherwise.
Yeah, completely against the words he has mentioned on stage. And alright, things happen. I have, seen these players perform in the past. I had a conversation with Adi too. And he said, alright, sometimes it's not your day. Sometimes things don't work out the way you expect. And alright, the competition is actually interesting though. But we are prepared for every single situation. And that's Nebula is looking forward to. Despite of the fact they got the first frag, they know that the retaliation is going to be a little bit tough. They're still going forward. One grenade could easily knock out two players. Nomi is going to be a player you should eye out for, as well as Phoenix. Yeah. Because if he stays alive, you are done.
For now, they're still trying to survive out there on the rooftop as Nomi decides to move up from behind. Destroys Spray God as he could not turn around. It's not just the neck, his entire body is just obliterated. You mentioned about Nomi, and he's the man who eventually shows up big time as the nade goes in, and a perfect knock with that perfect time on Adi. And Global Esports are being destroyed. There's only one man remaining right now, and that's going to be Troy. Can they survive? Can they pull something off? Already got a man knocked out in the open though, but it does not matter. You can cook up the scenarios, but Nomi is going to do a 1v3 to send all your predictions down in drain.
What a way to eliminate one of the most interesting team right now. And that's going to be Global Esports. And what an amazing fight. Nomi, once again. First of all, they dodged the grenades. Nomi parked his vehicle beside the compound. And then he knew that they will throw some more grenades. But meanwhile, that fight happened. NoNx crossed the road and now moving close to the place of Sinewy. But hey, Rexboy, the star fragger in the BGCS right now, struggling. And one grenade could work. But I like the position of Vishu. And yeah, Vishu gets two down.
Strikes out at the perfect moment. And it's not just two, but rather three members of NoNx being destroyed instantly. Rexboy is just panning them out in the open. Nasty. No! That's the third one as well. My goodness, this man is...
You don't do that.
Ruthless. He would absolutely do that.
It's the finals. Come on, have some respect, man.
It doesn't matter. They're not really going to rank up in this one either ways, but at least they can try and move forward in the top 5.
But, fun factor was, we were talking about these two teams. The two teams qualified from the BGCS, struggling, and now both the teams fighting back.
Absolutely big time right now, but the NoNx, the team that directly qualified in the finals, are being sent back home. And all of these fights happen in the power play, so it's going to be 8 points right in the pocket.
I love how Ninja worked. He knew that some of the players legit fighting and firing a lot of bullets. And he was like, yeah, let me loot first. I know if I get knocked, I will get revived. I had the compounds. But alright.
Priorities.
Priorities completely. works in their favor. And now we're talking about the circle, right? I mentioned iQOO Soul had the circle, but as you just mentioned, the circle moves towards, and it's once again favoring the team who had the previous chicken dinner. Guess what? Who got the northern side in their bag?
I don't think so that it's going to entirely favor them throughout the game this time around, though. That's going to be the thing. We're seeing some standard shifts coming in. Maybe the next one is going to be a hard shift, but focusing down on the teams who are down south out right now, VXT will be trying to pounce in. Also got a couple of other teams out here. Phoenix, Sinewy, Orangutan making their own way. It's going to be God's Reign as well, and all the way far in the blue towards Chuma.
Why Sarang is so far away?
It's fine.
What if?
You talk about far away? Look at where Genesis is.
But alright, Sarang is far away from the pack. He's too far away from the teammates. At least Genesis, they are sticking together. But if talking about sticking together, Nebula, two of the players, they are sticking together, and they know that if they will able to just collect some more frags, they can easily climb up the ladder. And now they are targeting one of the most incredible team who got the second spot in the leaderboard, iQOO Soul Goblin. Yeah, Phoenix missed out a lot of bullets. That's a third reload, right?
Reminds me of the Phoenix I'm sitting right next to.
What?
The same thing. But
oh my god, okay.
The other side, though, there's a team that's not really missing any kind of nades, and that's going to be K9. Eventually taking the fights against the members of Los Hermanos.
90 points confirmed.
Los Hermanos also lost their member to Versatile early on. So they're already left down to just last two members, but you can never count these two players out. We've seen many times on this specific map itself where Los Hermanos, rendered as the last two members left, still managed to win out that duel.
He's alone. Goblin is alone. It's looking really dicey for him. And he goes with the UMP and still got knock. He has done it again. He did that yesterday too. And now Nebula on the verge of elimination. Phoenix! He needs to survive. You have to survive in this situation. 30% HP, that's it.
The ball being dropped out there by Nebula right now. And it seems that this Nebula will fade away in front of the Quasar that's there. Pushing all that matter away, pushing every single one of those members apart out in the open as Phoenix. He wants to try a fly, but the wings are clipped as it's Soul who stand up on top of the mountain. Nebula are eliminated, and so are their hopes of getting closer to the trophy.
Before going down, they eliminated one of the most incredible squad, that was Global Esports, and eventually Soul getting that point. Before this particular game, you had a 7 points difference between you and K9, and now it is just a 6 point difference. Not even 6, apologies. 4 points difference. Yeah. The maths is mathing, and the circle is moving. And look at the cluster towards the eastern side. Things are not looking good for the players of Team God's Reign too, because a lot of the teams can easily keep for them.
Big thing about God's Reign is the fact that they're still outside of the circle. And this is where they faced the problem in the previous game as well.
Oh, yesterday Gods collided, and in that particular fight, God's Reign won.
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen today as well, because you've got True Rippers, you've got K9.
I have my hopes high.
All of them will have their line of sights out there.
Wait a minute! How Genesis, they are in the circle and Sinewy is not?
Don't ask me some questions which you don't want the answer of.
They were too far away comparatively to Sinewy. And they still got the circle first. Yeah, that's Genesis. That's Zap for you guys. But they are too close to each other. Alongside Power Grid. And once again, Power Grid is quite a flattened down area comparatively to the whole Miramar map. So you can easily spot out the players. But Destro, things are not looking good. Pretty close to the players of K9. They are escaping? Whoa!
Interesting to see now. And I think so I'm actually on in for this call of Omega, because they dropped the ball in the last game because they did not occupy the circle at a spot on time. They eventually let it move away and then were forced to make a move where they were supposed to either pick a fight against the members of maybe VXT or some other team, but they eventually dropped the ball. So Omega does not want to make the same mistake like the previous game this time around. So that's why he's got his boys all the way up around, almost towards the off-centric position. And considering we are in the urban areas between Hacienda and San Martin,
you've got a lot of teams who will be occupying those buildings.
Yeah, I agree with that fact. Because now, from the previous map, if you learn that what you should not do, and you're focusing on the circle, prioritizing the zone, prioritizing the buildings, in this stage itself, it will help you in the later stages. But Sinewy, we're talking about helping. 5 finishes already. You lost Mooks in the early stage against the players of NoNx. You defeated them, and now you're moving forward. And I think so Genesis, they got pinched. And they might get sandwiched between the players of iQOO Soul and Sinewy. Genesis, they could be in a whole world of trouble. Things are not looking good for them. And they're not in a good spot. They're on the 7th space. If Sinewy managed to shut down, 2 more players, they can easily topple them down. And even REVENANT X SPARK. By the way, where is REVENANT X SPARK?
All the way down south towards those southern hills. They always like to prioritize those high grounds whenever it comes down to these kinds of circles. So that's what Sensei has been pulling off. And I've been mentioning this multiple times.
Yeah.
Sensei knows which positions in the circle are great. And every single time they try to grab those positions, the big thing is, they just fail to defend that.
That's the point. Yeah, they don't know how to hold that position. Yes, you acquire your halt location, you decide that that's going to be your halt location, but you don't know how to fight in that situation, how to hold that particular place. But we were talking about the move by Omega, and it's brilliant.
Love it.
You got the compounds, and eventually you got a lot of space. You can easily control more compounds. So this is going to be an interesting fight, but Sinewy and Genesis, they are pretty close to each other. You can see a cluster. Genesis and Sinewy, if they will fight, you can expect REVENANT X SPARK can easily chime in. Gravity lost his life, and that could be the end. Sinewy, what a play! And they will certainly topple down the players of Genesis. Look at that, the overall ranking. And Rex Boy losing out his life. 2 smokes already, so that they can revive this incredible lad. Once again, the top fragger from BGCS. Right now struggling, but hey, he's alive. REVENANT X SPARK still trying, but look at the map control. And oh, wait a minute, Metal. They can fight against 2 teams.
That's something that can happen eventually up north right now, but the main focus is, what is REVENANT X SPARK going to do? Because this was not really a scrappy fight by Sinewy. It was a well-calculated one out there. So they still have got their lads up right now, just like the members of Godlike, as they will collide with the members of Middle. Gods is way too far away. So it's going to be 3 members up in front taking this fight. We know how good Jonathan has been with his nades, so he needs to land those to perfection.
Will he? Aimbot on the other side just doing the same thing. He has 1 grenade left. And if this works, this will work. But he's out in an open. Godzi, he knows that he will provide that cover from the outside area. But iQOO Soul, they are also chiming in. Admino. That smoke is important. 1 more smoke is really important. And Godzi can easily get pinned down by the players of iQOO Soul. Aimbot found Punk. And that's the worst start. Admino completely unaware about the surroundings. And Dummy, what a play. What a finish. Hero Xtreme Godlike falling short once again.
And the big thing is, right now there are still a couple of members of Soul who are in the vicinity. So Gods can't really make a proper bounce in to save his team right now, though he still will try as Jonathan moves up with him. Together, they're able to take down 1. At least Aimbot falls down on the ground as the confirmation will also flow. Gods is still holding strong, but not for long. Too many members to deal with for Middle as they lose 1, but they lead Godlike. But is it victory long-lived? Because you've got the members of Soul as well who are chiming in. And it's not just 2 people, it's all the 4 people. They're still pushing out forward as Middle only have Scout left. And he can't do anything but scout the vicinity for a safe passage.
It's better you run, it's better you save your life, it's better you save the flag of Team Middle. Because you're the final hope. Scout OP once again, all alone on his own, moving towards the safer compounds of San Martin. And from here, Scout needs to make the perfect decisions. And he has to be perfect with every single decision he makes right now.
I think so Middle will be fine if they get at least somewhere around 4 or 5 position points. But since we are talking about that, that means you've got to enter the top 5 and top 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be a bit of a difficult task out here. But for as long as the circle forms on him, I think so he should be fine.
You can easily slice the pie up for the players of iQOO. So look at the amount of map control they have. The western side is completely conquered by the players of iQOO Soul, and the eastern side is completely cramped up.
The big thing is you've got a couple of hills where you could stay. But on the other side right now, yes, I agree. It's going to be fully clamped up. Orangutan finding themselves in the middle of that entire commotion. Again, they lose out on one member.
Whoa.
That has been a big problem for this team right now, as so is the case with True Rippers. They eventually find Scout. He's able to take one of them down, but now his position is revealed, so he's got to play it as safe as possible. I'm not quite sure if he'd be able to pull a 1v4 here.
Quite unlikely, because you just got one grenade, and if you be able to just get one blood, that's it. The other players of True Rippers will shut you down. Trying to intimidate the players. Once again, pulling the pin of that grenade, but True Rippers, they're waiting for you to throw it. Clearing out every single angle. Scout once again with the grenade of his own.
It's a GG's.
Yeah, it seems like that, and he's delaying the fight. That won't delay the exit, but yeah, you can buy some more time and expect some other team will get eliminated.
Maybe he's just hoping for someone to hop in for the third party so that they can divert the attention of True Rippers right now, but that's not really happening. This nade should go, should fall, goes in, but does not find the knock.
That's problematic. Scout on the other side once again repositions. Healed up, completely unaware about the surroundings, and yep, he is done. Medal is done. What an end. Not even a single knock. That's not how things work.
I have no clue what he was trying to do in that corner, but it's absolutely fine though. Medal still got some 4 finishes early on. They're in the top 5. They're going to hold their space down, hoping that it's not a good game for K9, Soul or OG, but it's looking pretty good for 2 of them. 6 finishes.
Yeah, already.
For Soul already. And they've got all 4 players.
2 more points.
And you talk about the real estate. Now, they don't really just have the Western Hemisphere. They're also moving in slowly and steadily towards the southern one. Because this was where we were seeing the members of REVENANT X SPARK, but they moved away. And their focus is towards those eastern frays. They've already lost Fierce, so that's already a lot of firepower being taken away from them. Their only hope is going to be with this circle. If it stays on them, then it's going to be good. If it moves away,
yeah,
you've got, what, 5 different armies of multiple countries in front of you?
You don't know how to even deal with that. And if you try to just opt for the piece, yes, it will get converted into those loot pieces.
Yeah.
But for now, if we talk about the circle, it's moving in, it's closing in. Teams, they're still surviving. Phoenix, they're still here in the zone. 5 more seconds and the next circle will form in 3, 2, 1. Here it is. Yeah, here it is, brother.
You have the countdown in front of you.
Nah, I don't.
And you still drop the ball up.
The countdown was not there. It got covered by the minimap on the top right corner.
God,
you can check the stream back, but for now, you have to check onto the players of Orangutan because they are getting pinned. They are losing out those individuals.
I have absolutely no clue what's happening to OG right now. They're crumbling under the pressure.
Yeah.
Losing every single one of those members now as it's only AKOP. I'm not quite sure if he'd be able to do anything anymore right now. They don't really have an option of going for the position points as well. Still going to stick on 71 points. That gap is going to increase now between them and K9 because these were the only few teams which we thought maybe can eventually hold their ground out. Now this gives an opening to True Rippers where they can move up. Even Sinewy, they've got 3 players standing right now. 9 finishes already. I'm not going to count them out from this game. They've got a very solid momentum.
And you know what? They're slowly and slowly sneaking in. If they manage to get the chicken, oh my, they will be in the contestation of the top 3 and this will eventually create a lot of news. Let's see.
That's kind of a long shot right now.
To be honest, I count on them. If Moxie decides, yeah, you can easily go for the top 3. Yeah, chicken dinner is going to be long shot, but hey.
Yeah.
You can still count on them. And you know what? They're really good stealers.
I absolutely agree
in
right
BGCS, oh my god. They just, whenever they spots out a player, yeah, they're done.
Right now, it's going to be the members of my Los Hermanos being spotted out. And it's just as you said, having dealt with. K9 holding down the fort over towards the northeastern part.
I'm happy for Revenant X SPARK. The amount of control they got on the circle, it's good. I know I've been mentioning about the players of Team iQOO Soul. Yes, they got a wide spread, but I'm happy. Because look at the position of Sensei. If the circle moves away from you, he can instantly decide and easily chime in. And if you want, you can easily push on to the players of maybe Sinewy or the individuals of iQOO Soul.
But the big problem is that he does not have a good position for the rotation in the 7th circle.
He got the top,
right,
he got the
now,
height advantage.
Yeah, for the 6th one, it's nice.
Yeah.
But for the next one, lot of problems. Because let's be honest, Soul has got the Western Hemisphere. You can't really barge in from there. You've got to try and brute force your way against Sinewy.
That's the way.
This is the informed Sinewy we're talking about. And you lack fears in your firefights.
And that's going to be a problem. But I have still hopes.
Exactly.
Let's see, man. Because, yeah, Sinewy, that compound is going to be really difficult for you to just barge in, steal that from them. And as you just mentioned, yeah, they are in form, so they are pretty deadly. But the circle, it will close in 30 seconds and we'll see where the circle will move. I'm still counting on the players of True Rippers. They only got, what, 1 frag, I think? No, 2. That's it. True Rippers being too silent.
I really like that, to be honest, because look at the amount of teams who are around them. You've got K9, you've got VXT, you've got God's Reign, Phoenix. All of them have got 4 or 3 members. So it's not really any weak teams around you. It's all of them pretty solid. So I think so they're just holding on to their compound. It's absolutely fine. The circle is going to take a nasty shift this time, I feel like. It should be a Sinewy game right now, my man. I'm telling you. Moves away from everyone who was in the northeastern fray. And only one team will survive from there.
Ooh, this is going to be really deadly. And I'm high hopes for the players of VXT because you can easily shut down the players of God's Reign, Phoenix, and OnePlus K9.
That's the big thing that we're talking about right now. You know, we've been mentioning about how much real estate Soul has. I don't think so that's going to help them out either right now. It's an open ground in front of them. They will have to take a fight against this sweaty cluster that's forming in.
How OnePlus K9 will move inside the circle? We've been mentioning about the way they were playing. Meanwhile, Mighty Los Hermanos takes an exit because we all know they only had one player. He got eliminated right off the bat. And things are looking solid for the players of True Rippers. But hey, OnePlus K9, they're on the move. You should shut them down. What an easy entry for them.
Risky though, because Phoenix's attention was taken by the members of God's Reign. That's why K9 found a timing out here. But I don't think so the compound they're in that's still in the circle. They will have to move away. And they'll have to force a fight against VXT. And they'll be fired on from 3 different directions.
True Rippers are done.
I don't like that.
True Rippers are also done. They just cramped in just one single compound, one good grenade, and you are done for sure. And oh, that grenade from Ninja Boy. Phoenix. Yep. They are taking the dust right now. iQOO Soul on the other side. For the whole game, they had the best height advantage, the best zone, the top corner. And oh my god! What? Slug! Yep.
Standing up to his name, I believe, in terms of firing and pulling the trigger right now. As Sarang turns around, deletes him in an instant. And now K9 left with just 3 players out there. God's Reign as well, facing a lot of struggles. Just a couple of men. They're still alive, make it just one. It's only Delta. You cannot brute force your way. FVXT is defending and they're stopping 2 different teams from 2 different directions. It's not a 4v4 fight. It's a 4v7 fight.
VXT, you beauty. And how they're managing this, they know. Ronnie on this side gets eliminated. Ronnie, it's done. It's Beast who shuts him down. Ninja John, he needs to chime in because he's the only man. He's the only lone survivor from VXT. What? OnePlus K9 Omega steps up big. And Ninja John, he's alone. But look at Destro. He made his way into the circle. The circle is still favoring the players of Revenant X SPARK. I told you, man. They will get in the circle. Ninja Boy drops down. Jelly retaliates back.
Yeah, that's from the other side though, but I think so the revival will come in for Ninja Boy. It's also Beast remaining out here. We've known this man to be in the list of the TVS most wicked player. Can't really count him out of here. Delta's position should be noted. K9 should deal with him first. Now that nade goes in, so that chips a lot of damage off of him. Now to just the last 20% of his HP right now. Delta's constantly moving around. K9 will have to make their move fast. The circle, it's already moving in, and the blue is going to force them to move out in the open against the members of True Rippers. And you've got 2 main scramblers left alone. Can't really leave them out here because they will fire behind you. K9
They're losing time. They're losing chance and opportunity, and Delta will make sure that he punishes the members on the other side, but he only has got a few bandages left, and he himself has to make a move.
It's looking too bad for the players of God's Reign. Ninja Jord spots out Delta, but Delta gave his finish away to the blue. 10 more meters, God's Reign, that's the Ninja Jord. One good molly and you can easily deny the players of K9. iQOO on the other side found Kyo Lamau. Ninja Jord got one knock for himself. Beast also got knocked out. This is looking impossible for K9. And hey, VX Ninja Jord get picked by Ninja.
Finally, this is exactly what I was talking about, that K9 will have to force that fight early on. Otherwise, they will lose the members and it's all down to just Omega. Beast is out. Ninja Boy is still alive though. So that could be a little bit helpful, but he's not really in a position to do anything. It's Sinewy who's actually at a pretty solid spot. I still absolutely love where they are as Omega still tries to survive against the members of True Rippers. They're still trying to hold it down. True Rippers answering back. Beast has been taken down yet again. It's all down to just one last man as he's going to be blown to smithereens. A knock from the other side, but a destruction and elimination as a result. Things are looking problematic, and it's not just for one team, it's also for Soul, and it's also for OG, as AK stands in the center. He wants to stay alive, but this chicken dinner could be of either True Rippers or Sinewy.
Sinewy looking so good, so solid, so perfect. One good grenade and you can easily eliminate the players of Revenant X SPARK. iQOO just healing himself up and he's back in game. Only got one finish and looking out for some more. The spray was good, the spray was perfect. And hey, iQOO collects another frag. Sinewy, Vishu on the other side get knocked out. Revenant X SPARK denying the fact that Sinewy got the best advantage. Revenant X SPARK, you have to play comfortably. Sensei with the mollies, Sensei with the grenades. But hey, the retaliation from Rex Boy, it's looking good. And scared, this is not looking good for the players of Sinewy because it's True Rippers bouncing back.
Crore is being eliminated out here. That's going to be a bit of a problem outcoming in as True Rippers will be moved out in the open. Sensei's attention is still being grabbed by Rex Boy, who's eventually giving the revival to his teammate maybe, and that could be big. As iQOO soon he's going to be pushed out as well in the open as the blue will finally make its move. Nothing to do as he still tries to find something. AK will fall. We move to the top three. True Rippers moving together out in the open. It's Sensei up on top, but it's going to be Sinewy down below. Can you be the El Diablo and pull yourself out from the depths of hell? True Rippers out in the open, the Molotov up as the floor is lava, and it's still not doing anything. Jelly falls down to one, and it's still True Rippers to pull the game for themselves. Down to the wire, and they still stand up on top.
I actually thought it's going to be Sinewy, because Vishu, he was looking unstoppable, but you saw Jelly, you saw Kyo Lamau. That reaction says it all. And Sinewy is so close, yet so far. And hey, Rex Boy, having a conversation with folks, what just happened? And Vishu was really disappointed.
Almost pulling it off, man. Almost.
And I think so, it's us who jinxed it. That was a long shot.
I said True Rippers or Sinewy. I'm absolutely fine with my predictions, but yeah, you probably jinxed it.
Hey, you were the one who said for Sinewy it's going to be a long shot.
It absolutely was.
And it happened all right. It's just a banter. I'm just pulling a leg. But True Rippers getting the best result for them. And to be honest, True Rippers for the most of the game, they were completely out of the picture, right? Not even collecting a single frag. And you mentioned, yeah, they're playing good, they're playing safe, they're just prioritizing on the compound. And it was the play, it was the game. And eventually you had a fight against the players of the Team K9. But the way they disengaged from that fight was lovely.
I absolutely agree. They knew that they had the advantage and they were able to pull that off perfectly, holding it till the last second, waiting for the scramblers to finally get picked off and eventually making their move in the ranking, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of words to be said by Jelly. Let's hear it out.
It's not over until it's over. और शायद True Rippers इसी भाव के साथ इस मैच में अपना ये परफॉर्मेंस दिखाते हुए और चिकन डिनर पहले दिन आपने चिकन निकाला उसके बाद लगता है कि शायद दूसरे दिन थोड़ा सा रास्ता भटके. But Jelly, it's not over until it's over.
लास्ट मोमेंट तक फाइट करने वाला हूँ इस बार. हर बार थोड़ा सा गिव अप कर देता था कि लास्ट में शायद नहीं जीत रहे, लेकिन इस बार जितना हो सकेगा मैं लास्ट मोमेंट तक फाइट करने वाला हूँ. लास्ट मैच के लास्ट फिनिश तक मैं फाइट करने वाला हूँ.
आखिरी स्टेज पे इट वाज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक फ्री फॉर ऑल सीजन, क्योंकि 6 टीम्स जो हैं वो लड़ रही थी उस चिकन डिनर के लिए. आपके पास मैन एडवांटेज भी था, आपने जीत जो है वो हासिल की है. बट वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग ऑफ द मैच टुडे, क्योंकि आज दिन जो है वो सिर्फ आपकी परफॉर्मेंस के बेसिस पे नहीं है. जो मैच में आप कर रहे हैं, जली आप अभी भी बने हुए हैं. हम बात कर रहे थे K9 की, हम बात कर रहे थे सोल की. उन्होंने कुछ पॉइंट्स निकाले हैं, 100 के पास पहुंच चुकी है K9. बट क्या आपको अभी भी लग रहा है दिस इज गोइंग टू गो राइट टू द वेरी लास्ट मैच, प्रॉब्ली टू द लास्ट फ्यू स्टेजेस?
अगर लास्ट मैच तक जाता नहीं है तो देखो इस टूर्नामेंट में मजा नहीं है. फिर लास्ट मैच तक मेरे अकॉर्डिंग जाना चाहिए, लास्ट मैच के लास्ट मूवमेंट तक जाना चाहिए. लास्ट तक अगर विनर आपको डिसाइडेड ना हो तो मजा आता है खेलने में. और लास्ट मैच तक जाएगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, मैं लड़ने के लिए रेडी हूँ. और देखते हैं लास्ट मैच तक जाने. तो
भाई ये लास्ट तक लड़ने को तैयार हैं. ट्रू रिपर स्टिल इन द हंट, K9 स्टिल ऑन टॉप, सोल राइट बिहाइंड देम. इट्स एनीवन्स मैच, इट्स एनीवन्स ट्रॉफी. आएंगे इस ब्रेक के बाद.
Do it like that. 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 Do it like that.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
beginning हमेशा नहीं था स्टार यूसी लेने से पहले सोचता था 100 बार डर था बड़ा स्कैम्स का डाउट थे हजार तो प्ले ओपी आया तो लगाई नया पर तो मैंने लिया यूसी सेव गेम किया रेस प्ले मेरे साथ यहाँ ड्रॉप से कम हार्ड प्ले तेरे साथ ओपी तू भी कर ले स्टार्ट
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the grand finals of BGMS Season 4. And this is certainly the Esports Cup blockbuster because the way these matches are happening, the way the teams are performing, and the way the teams are actually fighting for the perfect and the #1 spot is looking fabulous. Two Rippers getting the chicken dinner. My name is Shivansh Phoenixing. Alongside me, it's going to be Bhavna Shokeen, aka Miss Shadow. So, Shadow, you were watching the game from the sidelines. the way True Rippers played and the way Sinewy approached towards the game. What are the expectations from the next game?
I think True Rippers, what they did was perfectly right. They got the winner chicken dinner as well, and that is exactly what you need if you really want to lift the trophy. And True Rippers have been the most consistent team, if you notice, in the entire duration of the grand finals and even the league plays as well. So I think this chicken dinner is definitely going to help the players of True Rippers.
Yeah.
But Sinewy, yes, that's a big problem because Sinewy, if you remember, you were with me in the Challenger series throughout the journey. Sinewy was the most consistent team, but seems like they're not able to handle the pressure of grand finals.
The next map, it's going to be Sinewy's map. They're the kings of Sanhok. You always remember that. Yeah, in the grand finals in the BGMS itself, they were, unable to just showcase a similar amount of performance they were, showcasing us in the BGCS, in the Challenger series. But I think so, I still have hopes from them. But in this particular maps, the way Sinewy, Vishu especially approached with the game, that was fabulous. But hey, Hydro, 70% of the finish contribution, which sums up to 10 total finish. I think so about 20 points True Rippers got from this particular map.
Yeah, Hydro has been a great addition. In fact, the entire roster, if you look at it, True Rippers, one of the main reasons they are so strong is because everyone is capable of bringing on that assaulting power. Not just Hydro. We have seen Harsh, Kyo, Lamau, even Jelly do that. But the best companion is going to be Rexboy from the side of Sinewy Esports with 0 rescues and 5 assists. And Rexboy was the guy who was always the MVP throughout the Challenger series.
And this time he got the best companion, but hey, that's how the world works, right? If anything goes around, comes around. But let's take a look at the OnePlus Never Settle moments. Scout OP got stuck behind that small little door and we don't even know what just happened. Not happy with the players, not happy with the decision making they have done. Scout, you can clearly see that heated discussion between his teammates. Was pretty decent eventually, but versatile. They had a good advantage. They had the circle, they had the compound shadow, but were still unable to get the game in their favor.
Yeah, Metal, I think the problem has begun yesterday itself. If you remember that one particular game where Metal Esports came so close to getting a chicken dinner. But for the players of REVENANT X SPARK, for a very long time, if you notice, REVENANT X SPARK also looked like a very strong contender for the trophy. But seems like in the grand finals, REVENANT X SPARK is crumbling under the pressure.
Ooh, they certainly are, and I think so, yes, that is a possibility. Although had a conversation with Trace God, and he said, Shadow, yes, we are pretty confident, we are looking forward, we will get better. But the way you played, could have secured more points. How many points they got? Let's take a look by taking a look at the match ranking. REVENANT X SPARK eventually getting only 8 points. Sinewy with 22 total frags, and the reason is pretty simple. In the finish points, yup, they got a good control, and True Rippers 20 points as we expected.
Even iQOO getting 9 points, K9 9 points. I think average points are something which the plus of K9 and iQOO needs in every single game because they are looking so promising to lift the trophy. REVENANT X SPARK just 8 points in this one. Nebula, Adi, a team which came from the Challenger series and were looking so strong even in the semi-finals and the playoffs. Seems like grand finals is actually taking a toll on the players of Team Nebula Esports and so for the players of Genesis as well. A guy Hunters who did a 1v4, not just one but twice and thrice in the entire league plays. And Genesis at one point was looking untouchable in the leaderboard. But suddenly Genesis has evaporated from the game.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to them, but I can clearly say nothing is changing between the first and the second spot. The difference is still the 7 points. K9 every single time they're just maintaining that difference against the players of iQOO. But the best factor is both the players are climbing up the ladder together. True Rippers, this was their second game, and now the difference between them and iQOO is only 7 points, and the difference between them and the team who's on the top spot is only 14 points.
Even Medal is also looking quite promising. A one big game from the side of Medal Esports, they can also catapult themselves in the overall ranking. But RNTX with 65 points. The point difference between K9 and RNTX is almost 33, exactly 33 points. They just need a very big chicken dinner if they really want to climb up the ladder.
I don't know, man. 33 point is a big number for sure. And you really need, as you just mentioned, a good chicken dinner with those early, power play fights and power play points. That will eventually help you. And Slug being very vocal with his teammates. We can clearly see iQOO on the other side. Ayugi is on the stage discussing with his teammates. And yes, hey, that's a good way to just motivate your teammate. Legend was there, and you're just motivating him. Yes, you can do it. And in this particular game itself, in the Miramar itself, Shadow, the players got good map control. But the hard shift, the sixth shift, eventually took that liberty away from the players of iQOO, and it eventually handed over to the players of Team Crore. But alright, whatever happened. The game is going to be the next map. It's going to be of Sanhok. And we all know how much interesting and annoying that map could be.
For the players of RNTX and Hero Xtreme Godlike, yes, it is going to be pretty interesting because we know they both love going for a drop clash. But the main question is, since REVENANT X SPARK is still in the contention for the podium finish, will they eventually go for the drop clash, or will we see a change in the drop location from the side of RNTX? Because Hero Xtreme Godlike, let's be very honest, this risk is not going to harm them.
Yeah, it's certainly not going to harm them. Let's see what they have planned in their mind. We're just going to look forward with the Sanhok map. We'll bring that up after a very short break.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse-to-die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Look, chat, I don't play games when it comes to gaming chairs. Take this one. Doesn't recline. Makes me want to... Good thing I have an Android. Watch Gemini save the day. This chair is squeaking and won't lean back. What's the fix?
To unlock the seat, pull the tilt lever located below it and adjust it to the desired position. To stop the squeaking, tighten the bolts and spray some lubricant on the joints.
Now this is the seat to beat. Okay, cats, time for some chicken dinners.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Only last 2 games remain for this entire journey of Master Series. And after the 2 games, we'll get to know who is going to lift the trophy and will be the champion for the Battlegrounds Mobile India Master Series Season 4. Sanhok, like you said, Shivansh, is a very unpredictable map and is very zone-oriented. But there are a few teams who are looking very comfortable in the overall ranking. I'm talking about the players of K9 Esports, a team which was struggling in the league plays. They were not getting even a single chicken dinner. But suddenly in the grand finals, now they are looking so promising.
Yeah, they certainly are. And if you want to know how much promising they are playing, the way they are approaching, you can easily look at their POV by taking a look at and utilizing the multicam feature only on Jio Hotstar. But if we talk about the stars, they are the Sinewy. But if you want to align your stars and if you want to unlock the Nixon Sinistra set, you can do that. Spin and unlock the new Nixon Sinistra set starting at only 10 UC. That's a limited time offer only on Google Play. Moving forward with the conversation we are having, Team Sinewy, total what? Maybe I think so 28 points away from the players of K9. Yes, you can do that. In this game, you can easily convert that. But the previous map, True Rippers, they converted a chicken dinner. And they are just 14 points behind from the tabletoppers.
Of course, Sinewy Esports are also looking so promising. But so are the players of True Rippers as well. Yes.
Something went flying.
It's okay. It's okay. That's part and parcel of plan movements, plan events. Jelly, and if you notice, this was the same time last year when Jelly was benched. He was a part of Hero Xtreme Godlike. He was not in the playing 4. And now, how time flies. Jelly with his new lineup is looking so promising in the overall ranking, doing so good. And so the plus of Orangutan as well. But Jelly's previous teammates are not looking that good with just 44 points right at the bottom of the leaderboard. Hero Xtreme Godlike, suddenly they have started struggling in the grand finals.
And if you're talking about struggling, God's Reign, they were also struggling. They had a good position and now they were not in the top 3. They're not in the top 3 and you have to make sure that you can easily, just climb up the ladder. But in the previous game, there was a moment where we thought that, oh, alright, Skywood can easily, at least just get 1 or 2 knock against the players of Crore, but he was so much angry onto his players that what you have done, that's not the way you should, fight in the final circles.
Even medal. Yes, I do agree with what you said, but VXT is also one of those teams, Shivansh, which came from the Challenger series. Hero Xtreme Godlike, yes, they are struggling. VXT, even they are not looking that great. OG, still possible. All they need is just one big game. But I think one big 30 bomber from any of the team can actually catapult themselves in the overall ranking. And I think Ninja Jod also do realize that they just need one great game. Yesterday also Sanhok was a pretty decent game for the players of VXT.
And if we're talking about being silent and being pretty good, Mane just got stuck between those pointers, right? Being good, yes, you got the chicken, yes, you had the chicken in the past, but if you're talking about getting stuck and unable to perform in the previous map, you got pinned down by the players of Nebula and completely got eliminated in the first zone itself. So yeah, it's looking not crazy good for him to an AKOP, unable to just continue his form in this BGMS Season 4 Grand Finals.
But someone who started on a very good note and was struggling previous year, Sensei, he is looking so good. At least in the league plays, he was looking untouchable in the overall ranking, constantly shuffling in the top 4, going for those bounty points, and weekend was the time where REVENANT X SPARK used to shine the most because the impact player system was also there. But now in the grand finals, where we only have the power play, REVENANT X SPARK seems like they are also on the struggling side. And we have Sensei's father also in the arena, a proud father supporting his son. I'm sure it's a very emotional moment for anyone, any child.
Yeah, eventually it is. If your father is looking up to you and seeing you performing good on one of the biggest stage in India, and that's going to be BGMS Season 4. And hey, Slug just saying that, yeah, that's the way I'm just going to lift up the trophy. And he's very happy though, good guy and really focused person. If you talk about the gaming itself, pretty good, awesome in the first spot, but which team is going to steal that spot? This team is the prime contender, iQOO Soul, Goblin, right in front of our eyes.
Slug is looking so happy, a guy who is always full of life, always happy, always joking around. I'm sure you remember one of the time where Slug was crying on the stage.
Yep.
And REVENANT X SPARK, back then it was Ninja Jod and the boys in that lineup, they lifted the trophy. I'm sure emotions were overflowing that day, but this time Slug is looking so ready to lift the trophy, and that's the reason that he's smiling along with his new IGL, and that is going to be Omega. But for the last time, we have the map of Sanhok in the Master Series Season 4. It's going to be intense, it's going to be important when everyone is still fighting with tooth and nail to get few extra points, be it in the power play or be it in the form of the chicken dinner, because one big game and anyone can be in the podium at this point in the leaderboard. But the flight path this time is all the way from the side of
Bantai
towards Mongoi, a completely eastern flight path.
Yeah, once again, but it won't, just matter a lot because the map is quite small and you can easily glide towards your favorite drop location. But I'm looking forward for boot camp. Will REVENANT X SPARK change their drop location? Yes, they certainly did. Look at the players. They are moving towards Tatmok and Cow Shadow. And yeah, they have changed it. And alright, if things won't work in your favor, you should change the game plan. But for now, iQOO Soul up against the players of Nebula and Kratos with his Striker. Completing the players of iQOO Soul. They were the top contender. And now they are getting finished one by one. That's a mistake. Fighting against Nebula, and we all know they are the Dream Crushers. Nebula has always been that squad, Shadow.
Yeah, I'm sure you remember what really happened on the last day of the Challenger Series as well. But this time, Knuckle is the only one standing. This guy has done 1v4 in the league plays as well. Can the Batman shine again? And seems like the answer is going to be no.
Oh, look at
Adi giving the flying kisses to the players of Team iQOO Soul. An early exit is definitely going to hurt. I think Adi after this event is going to have a new name. Before he was known as the Kingmaker, but now he'll be known as something
Dream
else.
Crushers.
That's what you called him.
Yeah, I will call him that too. I love Adi, the way he plays, the way he manages team, the way he micromanages team towards the victory. Yes, this will eventually not throttle you up to the top of the leaderboard. You're on the 9th spot. You still need 37 points, Shadow, if you are looking forward for the 2nd spot and maybe trying to challenge the players of K9 Esports. But that's the way. If you're gonna start, you have to be ready for a lot of fans. Just saying, yeah, what a game and what a play. But moving forward with the game itself, K9, they have to be prepared for every single position. Medal on the other side. Look at them, top 6, Shadow. And if they get this game in their favor, yes, you can be in the top 3.
Of course, you can be, but looking at the circle, even the players of K9 are also looking very promising. We have a circle where all the 3 islands are in the contestation. It can either go towards the eastern side of the Pinar or towards the western side of the Pinar. The IGLs are going to be on their toes, thinking what sort of rotation they need to pull off. But right now, currently, the Pinar is completely under the control of the players of Team Nebula Esports. But if the production allows us to show the map to the audience, I would love to tell them that how unorthodox split we are witnessing from the side of Team Genesis.
And then look at the southern side. The amount of space Genesis had, that's not equally equivalent to the players of True Rippers, Sinewy and Mighty Los Hermanos. They are so close to each other, Shadow. Okay, that's going to be an interesting way to just approach towards the game. Sinewy on the southern side of the map, close to Bantai. Technically, Sami and Kamchali, they got pinned between these 2 cities. Sinewy moving towards the players of Team Crore Rippers, the winners of the Miramar map. And Shadow, it's a null for now. Not even a single player engaging in any type of action except Nebula eliminating the players of Soul. How it happened? Let's take a look.
Here's the thing, Team iQOO Soul were just few points deficit and were sitting on the 2nd spot.
7
and
points.
Nebula going up against the players of Team iQOO Soul, it could have gone either ways. If iQOO Soul had won that fight, I think they would have catapulted themselves in the overall ranking. And might they have toppled over the players of K9. A good head start is what the players of Team iQOO Soul wanted. But this drop clash went in the favor of the players of Team Nebula and Adi. I'm sure the flying kisses are not out of love, for sure.
Yeah. That's a different type of relationship he's having with other teams,
Yeah.
Toxic one, but hey, if it works in his favor, it does. But if we talk about Hero Xtreme Godlike, also changed their position, dropped towards a different area, and now moving towards the Pinan. Pinan is in the center of the zone for this circle, for the stage 1 itself. So Nebula, they don't have to move way far away. But wait a minute, Hirsch needs to be careful. A whole squad is moving towards him. Vehicle got spot. A ricochet grenade, perfect one. Not even a single knock. Switch to his S12K. Waiting for the perfect movement. Rex Boy got knocked out by Hydro. And Hydro finishing him off. He's still surviving. How he can even do that? And now Hydro, he got his back. Smokes pinned behind this boulder and knocked out. And that's the point. They are getting these points in the power play, Shadow. You have to keep an eye on that.
Both these teams are still in the top 5. True Rippers with 88 points now and Sinewy Esports with 69 points. But problem is Sinewy, they have been reduced to only 2 remaining players. True Rippers, they need to be very cautious because every single game matters a lot to the players of True Rippers at this point. And now since the players of Genesis are also in the fray, Zap has been spotted out and Hush out being in the open has instantly been knocked out. Instant confirmation also coming in. True Rippers, they have to make sure to keep their numbers alive if they are eyeing for the podium finish or for the trophy. Because now iQOO Soul, they have been eliminated. This opens a big window for the players of True Rippers to catapult themselves in the overall ranking.
And now this is going to be a problem for you. Eventually you got 4 points in your favor. You shut down 2 players and losing out 1 player in Harsh is an important player. Right in the previous match itself, we saw that how much important that lad was. But moving forward with the game itself, you also, just kinda gathered some attention from the players of MyG Los Hermanos too. But Sinewy, they escaped Genesis, moving towards the circle, and True Rippers, they are taking the longer run for now. On the other side, we can see Team Metal in front of our eyes, and they might shut down the players of NoNx. But wait a minute! It's Versatile fighting against the players of OnePlus K9?
Yeah. VXT and K9, they both share the same drop island, that is towards the side of Camp Alpha, where VXT love going in towards the side of Hafte, and K9, they love taking the split drop around Camp Alpha and the temple area. K9 were making their rotations towards the ruins, and that is where VXT got one player off guard from the side of K9 Esports. Now K9, they have to make sure to go for the passive style at this point, because if they go for the aggression and if it backfires, they can lose their top spot.
They certainly can. And it's not that solid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually you're pretty safe from the team who's on the second spot, soon out of contestation. Yeah, you're safe from them. But now True Rippers, before this match started, you had a difference of 14 points. And now it just dropped only to 10 points. And one good game, another chicken dinner for the players of True Rippers. Yes, you can, once again, as you love to say, you can catapult yourself to the #1 spot. But for now, Team NoNx, close to the players of Middle. Middle, they are rotating, and you can get spotted out by the players of NoNx, and that's a trap! And the rats got trapped again. Metal on the verge of elimination. It's NoNx fighting so brilliantly, and that's it. That's the end. You are done. And before the power play could end, Metal, they got finished.
Oh my god, big blunders coming in from the side of Metal Esports. They were looking promising in the overall ranking, and Sanhok has been their strong games. But NoNx catching the players of Metal out in the open. All the two of the players of NoNx are also down on their knees looking for the revival. But seems like the rescue mission is not coming, as the confirmation has been made by the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. And Okana is the only sole survivor in a 1v4 situation. But the main question is, the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike, they're not aware about the position of Kana. They're just busy making their own rotations, so Kana can actually go for a few extra position points.
I think so. That's going to be the plan. That's going to be the game plan for Kana itself. Eventually, Hero Xtreme Godlike, they're still trying to figure out where the last player is. They're still collecting a lot of information, but that could backfire instantly. Jonathan, he's out in an open, and Kana, if he found him in a very weird spot, you can instantly knock him down and finish him. Still got 25 more seconds so that the circle will start moving. True Rippers also moving from the quarry side itself. Admino, once again, Johnny and Admino so close to Kana. You can clearly see that on the minimap, unaware that someone is watching you, someone is keeping an eye on you. But he'll let that slip in and let them escape. But Shadow, if we talk about the center, God's Reign, they got a good compound. They are moving solid. They are looking good. But what type of rotation does Sensei is opting for? 300 meters away, and it's just keep on increasing. Are you rotating from cave? It seems like that.
I think he's going for the round the circle rotation all the way towards the southern side, which actually can be a good rotation if the circle goes all the way towards the side of Sami. But this fight which happened out in the open for the players of Metal Esports, Metal was not prepared for NoNx Esports. Instantly, 3 players were knocked out. It was only one last man remaining. Eventually, he was also taken out of the equation, but Metal did give a good fight to the players of NoNx Esports. But all the knocks which Metal did, the confirmation was secured by the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike.
Worst start for them. The team who had the 6th and the 2nd spot already pieced the brunt out of this game, and now you just only got one game. And we all know, we have to break the news, right? It's almost impossible for the players of Middle to just get the trophy in their name, because K9, they're still surviving. They can easily just collect some more points and hit the triple digits. And for Medal, for now the difference is 33 points. For one game, if you need those points, you need to at least win 3 fights in the power play, get the chicken, and while getting the chicken, you should eliminate some more players. So yeah, it's going to be a really, really long shot. But moving forward, the game, Versatile, they got the circle, now exchanging those vehicles, and once again, Sanhok, it's a silent map.
It certainly is for now, because everyone is busy making their own rotation. Because here's the thing, Sanhok still has a possibility. Anyone can catapult themselves in the overall ranking.
Whoa.
That's the reason it's so slow, but seems like Global Esports taking a head-on fight against the players of VXT, as Mane with a grenade gets a knock onto one of the players. Sarang from VXT looking for the confirmation point as well, but GE, they also need to be very careful, because all this is happening on the northern periphery of the circle, and we also have Genesis in the fray. There is a huge chance of a third party happening.
Oh, if Genesis, if they can hear those fights, yes, they can certainly get the finish. And then as you just mentioned, Shadow, you completed the sentence. Genesis completed Sarang. And now he's out of the picture. Genesis, way more interested in this fight than Global Esports could be. You lost one of your frag, and now Mania, you have to start from scratch again. Ronnie has a grenade in his hand. I think so he is aware about the fact that where Mania is. Mania is closing in the distance, and now they flew away. They are running away from this fight, Shadow. A very interesting take by the players of Team Genesis. In fact, VXT, they might move from Sami and Mania on the other side. Spots out the players of Genesis now. Took some amount of damage onto him. Still surviving. That's going to be a best part. Meanwhile, REVENANT X SPARK taking control of Camp Charlie. Although, True Rippers, they know that somebody has moved into these compounds. Somebody's here. So Kiolamau staying silent till the circle moves.
True Rippers, they need to maintain the consistency. They have to stay alive. And that's one of the reasons that we are seeing a change of pace from the side of True Rippers, because earlier this team never used to shy away from the fight. But now they do realize that between them and K9, there is a 10-point difference.
Yeah.
And a 3-point difference between iQOO, who's sitting on the second spot, but they have been eliminated. So True Rippers, they have to survive enough to still be in the top 3, solidify their spot in the podium, and maybe eye for the trophy as well. It all boils down to the performance which iQOO and K9 also brings on the table in the last game, and this particular game as well. But True Rippers, yes, a lot of information is there, but also the southern control is also there, Shivansh, if you notice, because the cluster is all the way towards the northern side.
Yep.
If the circle takes a southern shift, I think True Rippers are in a very promising spot.
High chances the circle will again move towards the center, and it will eventually favor the players of Orangutan and Genesis, as well as Sinewy. They're also being so silent. You lost 2 of your players in the early stage, but still got the zone, so that's going to be a better factor for you. Meanwhile, OnePlus K9 Esports taking a lot of damage from the blue, moving towards circle. And the rotation they are doing, very risky, Shadow. Right now you are avoiding the players of VXT, but you might face the players of Team True Rippers. And it could be VXT too. Look at Shadow. He spots out the players of K9. K9 accepted these compounds as their hot location, but you up in Genesis versus Global Esports. The next fight, it happened.
Nades being exchanged, and Adi was on the receiving end, to be very honest. He was a lucky man in that situation. But on the other side, we also have Nebula and Phoenix also locking horns with each other, where Archit has been knocked out. Genesis, they need to amp up the aggression and break out in the open. It's the DBS in the hands of Gravity. If it was Info 1-6, the knock could have come through, but it is Gravity who is going to be knocked out by Mania, and Mania also gets a confirmation point as well. Big blunder from the side of Gravity. In that distance, you can't rely on DBS.
Whoa! Another grenade being tossed, and now the hero fragger himself, Hunter, is out of the picture. Mania got knocked out, and this is the way Global Esports retaliated back. This is the way they reacted. Oh, it's amazing. And Shadow, you mentioned about the circle. It moved towards the southern side. It is favoring the players of True Rippers. It is favoring the players of REVENANT X SPARK, but they are fighting against the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. Despite they changed their drop location, they still end up together.
Everyone wanted to have the southern control, and seems like Hero Xtreme Godlike were also going for a southern rotation, and in the process of doing so, they clashed against the players of RNTX, and once again a same fate for Hero Xtreme Godlike. Whenever, no matter where on the map these two teams collide, almost every time it's RNTX coming in the top.
The way REVENANT X SPARK take those team fights, their approach is actually brilliant. And if not, it just works against the player of Hero Xtreme Godlike. So it is. In that particular fight itself, Shadow, spray could have been way better. Hitting some shots, missing few. You can still make into the circle, but you have to clear out your angles. And A Shadow spots out another team. That's going to be Global Esports. Spray got too close to you. Zap on the other side, lost his life against the players of Versatile itself. Shadow showing his back, receiving a lot of damage. And yeah, this could be the end for him. One shot of that S12K might shut you down, but Shadow peeks out. The cover fire is enough, and he has the DBS.
Certainly, he's having the DBS, but Phoenix Esports, in the meanwhile, even they have been eliminated. Mane has been knocked by Shadow and he goes for the Troy as well. A 1v4 has been turned into a 1v2 situation. Can he deal with the third player as well? And seems like yes, he can. Adi is on a very low HP, looking for the confirmation point, but Shadow on a very low HP, knocked out by Adi himself. VXT now left with only 2 last members as Adi gets a confirmation towards Shadow.
But the blue zone is pretty ruthless. Spray God, he needs to move inside the circle, and while he's doing that, he got pinned down by the players of Versatile. The Spray Ninja Jord, missing a lot of those shots, goes for the reload, and before he can drop down from the vehicle, he got finished off. Ronnie with the final. Again, confirmation. He needs those smokes, he needs to heal himself up. He spots out Adi, the spray, it connects, but he lost his life, and Beast, he spots him down. 2 frags for K9. NoNx got eliminated. Versatile, they got eliminated. Global Esports still surviving. 100 points for K9. That's the first team, ladies and gentlemen, in the BGMS Season 4 Grand Finals achieving that number. It's OnePlus K9 Esports.
And still they are left with 3 remaining players, and they also have the complete southern control for themselves. But the problem is even True Rippers and RNTX are also looking for the southern control. OG is locking horns with the players of Nebula at this point. Hydro having a height advantage is keeping a close eye out to the players of K9, especially Beast right in the crosshairs of Hydro. Beast, this is such a deadly spot in which you are.
The spray was good, but Hydro got spotted out from the distance. Once again dropping down at the right nick of time. Shadow is surviving, and now he needs to confirm that frag, because Hydro, you're the only lad, you're the only man surviving from your team. Hydro once again, he got up and tanked a lot of damage before he can even finish that lad. He's just healing himself up again and again, fighting against the tides. Getting that finish for himself. No first aid kit left for Hydro. I don't know for how long this lad can survive. But hey, this is going to be an incredible fight for Omega and True Rippers Hydro.
9-point difference just between K9 and True Rippers, and they both are left with one single lad. A chicken dinner can actually catapult any one of them in the overall ranking. But for now, even the players of Xtreme are trying to lock horns with the players of Nebula. Suddenly, Nebula is picking fight everywhere, and finally they have been eliminated on the 8th spot. 9 finishes is what they get out of this game. A good conversion coming in for the players of Nebula as well. But looking at the circle, Sinewy Esports is right in the dead smack center of the circle, and the only compound which is there is being occupied by the players of Sinewy Esports. Even the next circle shift is going to favor them and favor the players of Xtreme as well. But Xtreme, they have the northern control, where everyone else wants to have the southern control. Hydro, the last man of True Rippers, has been eliminated by Omega himself, by the way.
And Omega, he's looking good, he's looking solid. He knows that he needs to survive for a little bit more long. He knows that the circle is a bit far away for him, but he's closing in the distance and squeezing himself. But mighty Los Hermanos Shadow spots out the players of Godlike. The spray was good and even perfect. A grenade has been tossed onto the players of Godlike. The confirmation was there. Shadow looking too solid. Kalan with one of his own grenade. Justin cooking one of his own. Will it convert? No. It was a bit short, but Kalan extending this fight. Shadow, meanwhile, faces the brunt, got knocked out.
Justin with the grenade is looking for the confirmation point onto the knock player of Mighty Los Hermanos, but at the same time, Evil is picking fight with the players of RNTX, where Sensei has been eliminated. Now RNTX left with only 3 players. Mighty Los Hermanos is pretty much sandwiched between Xtreme and RNTX. Fury with his utils, with his grenades, is trying to get some more connection towards Mighty Los Hermanos. And finally, Spy is the guy who has been knocked out by Fears. A wonderful grenade and a follow-up can actually mark an elimination also. Mighty left with only 1 last player. Evil not for very long, because he also has been eliminated by Sinewy Esports. 3 teams up against Mighty Los Hermanos.
And then a knock has been confirmed in Mighty Los Hermanos. They got eliminated, but Neo, he is just reviving his teammate. Trey Scott, he needs the revival too. But meanwhile, Sinewy, they are in the top 4. Omega, he is in the top 4. And he's making sure, Shadow, that he can collect more points than his counterparts. True Rippers out of the picture. Team Soul out of the picture. K9 still there. Fury slowly and surely moving in. That's going to be a risky move. And the grenade works! Again gets a knock. And God's Reign. This could be the end for them.
It certainly can be, as Fury with that spray is actually dishing out a lot of damage. But it was actually Sinewy Esports to line the final bullet towards the side of Godstrain. They have been eliminated. Now only 3 teams remaining. Where Sinewy Esports, they have the compound advantage, but Fury gets an opening onto B show, so that means Ninja is the only one. And Trey Scott also gets a confirmation. Look at the synergy which REVENANT X SPARK is bringing in. 11 finishes, and they are raining death and destruction in the lobby.
Yeah, they certainly are, Shadow. You just need 2 more frags. You can get a 23-pointer in this one. Omega hiding behind that boulder. The circle might move away from Omega. The final hope from K9, not giving his frag away to any of the teams. Sinewy, Ninja, he's still there. Omega with the smoke. He can get a chance to move. Trey Scott with his grenade. Will it confirm the lad? Yes, it dished out some damage, but not perfect. Ninja, he has to heal himself up. And Trey Scott, the frag is there. Omega disappointed, but he has done his job. And Ninja, the only lad.
In a 1v3 situation, seems like this is the game for the players of RNTX, but Ninja, can he get few more extra finish points? Can he do something, because he takes down Fierce from the side of RNTX? Might be looking for the confirmation, but the Molotov is going to stop the player Ninja in his strike, but he also deals with Fury. A 1v3 has been brought down to a 1v1 situation when Ninja gets a confirmation point onto Fury as well. It's only Trey's God remaining. Ninja, he has to heal himself, and that is exactly what he's trying to do. So it's also the S12K waiting on the other side.
This is the waiting game. This is the most crucial game. Ninja confirming another frag. For how long you can fight Trey Scott. Less HP. Ninja got the movement advantage 1v1. And Ninja confirms that. Sensei not happy, and Sinewy shouting and controlling the game. In the previous map itself, they end up on the 2nd spot. And in this one, they got the chicken. They're just right behind them. What just happened?
A 1v3 is what Sinewy Ninja converted. And that too against such strong players of RNTX. I'm sure Sensei and the boys are not going to be happy, because no one anticipated that. And Ninja out of nowhere. Yes, few mistakes were also made by the players of RNTX in that situation, because individual fights were given to Ninja. If all 3 players had rushed towards him in tandem, maybe it could have been a chicken dinner game for the players of RNTX. But Ninja holding on to his grounds, keeping the calm and composure, not giving up. Finally getting that 10 position points. But REVENANT X SPARK, big disappointments.
Very. In the previous map itself, you were in the top 3, Sinewy was there. And in this particular map, the same thing happened. You had everything, Shadow, but you still lost.
Yeah, definitely, Ninja. This was a moment. Trey's God came in, Fierce Gaming. They came for the individual fights. That should not have been allowed. I'm sure so many people do have questions that what really happened in that situation. So for all this question, we have got Surain on the stage along with the players of Sinewy Esports. Let's head directly to Surain.
Final के टाइम पे ऐसी परफॉर्मेंस आना 1v3 and it's all because of this dude Ninja. भाई कुछ ही लम्हे हुए हैं. Can you believe what you just managed to pull off?
हाँ था, कॉन्फिडेंस तो था, पूरा कॉन्फिडेंस था. वो आ भी रहे थे थोड़ा, मतलब फ्लाइट में लोग लेफ्ट राइट हो गया था, हो गया.
आपने सिंगल हैंडेडली रेवेनेंट एक्स स्पार्क के जो भी मंसूबे थे, जो भी उनके सपने थे, आपने उन्हें चकनाचूर कर दिया.
हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी, कर दिया. अभी पोजीशन भी अच्छा बन रही थी, कॉन्फिडेंस भी था पूरा, मार दिया बस. आ रहे थे इन पे.
यार आप लोगों को वो लंबा रास्ता लेना पड़ा, राइट? आपको चैलेंजर्स के थ्रू यहाँ पे आना पड़ा. आप उन 4 टीमों में से थे, along with Nebula and Versatile and H4K, up to be on number 4 in the leaderboard. Look, I don't know कि आखिरी मैच में exactly क्या permutation बनेगा आपको अगर ट्रॉफी के लिए फाइट करनी है. But how happy are you with the journey that you guys have had?
अभी तो है, बहुत हैप्पी भी है, सैड भी है, क्योंकि और अच्छा कर सकते थे ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में. फिलहाल तो है, अभी लास्ट मैच देंगे अपना बेस्ट, देखा जाएगा जो होगा वो होगा.
What was with that expression and that emotion जब आपने मैच जीता? You almost managed to break the table, bro.
हो गया था, बस एड्रेनल.
Adrenaline is pumping. Thank you so much. Sinewy Esports, क्या कहानी रही है चैलेंजर्स के थ्रू मास्टर्स तक पहुंचना और अब इस लीडर बोर्ड पे आखिरी दिन उस 4th स्पॉट पे रहना, और ऑल्सो स्टैंडिंग अलोंगसाइड समथिंग व्हिच इज एज स्मैशिंग, दिस रेड ब्यूटी, दिस मॉडल वाई बाय टेस्ला. ये दुनिया की बेस्ट सेलिंग कार है आप जा सकते हैं to World Mark in Aero City in Delhi and at BKC, the Bandra Complex in Mumbai. वहाँ Tesla Experience Center में जाके इसका टेस्ट ड्राइव लीजिए. In case you buy it, and also the supercharging station, 267 kilometers added in 15 minutes. But guess what? Match 4, just over 15 minutes. It could be make or break. We come on the other side.
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
Welcome back, everyone. You guys are watching OnePlus Android Battlegrounds Mobile India Master Series Season 4, last day of the Grand Finals. And in fact, after this, the last match remains of Erangel. But let's talk about the previous one, Necro, because after the previous game, I'm sure, not just you, I think everyone needs to hydrate themselves because it was a 1v3 situation. So just drink up the Bisleri, hydrate yourself because that's what the players of RNTX also needs to do now.
I was so hyped looking at that clutch in the end.
Yeah.
Just imagine, right? A team that came in from Challenger Series. No one was banking upon them. But now you've got Sinewy out of nowhere just pulling themselves in that top 3 in the overall standings with a massive chance to be the champions of the BGMS Season 4. Doesn't this sound like a Cinderella run right here?
It certainly does, because those extra 6 points would have definitely helped the players of REVENANT X SPARK. And I think it was the overconfidence of the players of RNTX because they knew the chicken is coming in their favor, and that was the reason they gave the 1v1 fight to Ninja. But they didn't. They forget in that moment that Sinewy are the kings of Sanhok.
And here's the thing, right? The moment Ninja was able to clutch that entire situation out, we also did see the cameras of Sinewy. Of course, the players were hyped up. But the moment the cameras switched towards Sensei, Sensei was pissed. He was not happy with what happened to REVENANT X SPARK because he knows this is going to be fumbling up the momentum that currently REVENANT X SPARK possesses. But it's not just about them, right? We've also got Seoul. We've also got K9 Esports in the race. Yeah, for Seoul, they got eliminated quite early in that game, but they're still in the top 2. You cannot take it away from them.
Yeah, Team iQOO, Seoul, K9, they're still in the contestation, although it was a pretty early exit for the players of iQOO Seoul in this particular one. But despite that, the MVP has to be Fury from the side of RNTX with 5 finishes and 42% finish contribution.
Exactly. 5 finishes, of course, from the man Fury himself. Generally speaking, yes, the MVP is Fury from REVENANT X SPARK, but the overall MVP, the man who pretty much stole the all-lamplight, should be Ninja Boy, with 5 finishes racked up from Ninja, and then you've also got him being the finisher, of course, of that game. It's not even a question. He was able to shut down all the 3 players of or Revenant X SPARK, of course, he has to be the MVP in all of our hearts.
Of course, and even Ninja is the finisher because he was the guy who was able to do a 1v3 situation in that moment. But look at the lineup of our NTX. We have got Fierce, a guy who was able to do a 1v4 against the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. Then we have got Trace God. He has been the star performer of our NTX, not just in this tournament, but from the past days as well. And despite that, losing into a situation where you have the numbers advantage, position advantage, you have got everything lined up for you. And such a crucial moment. I think this is going to hurt the players of RNTX for a very long time.
It's going to hurt RNTX. It's also going to hurt the players of Seoul since they got eliminated so early in that game.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, right, losing out in those type of scenarios definitely going to take the momentum away for you. And for Revenant X SPARK, it's not a good start to the final game. We know they've only got one last chance to seal that trophy and get their hands onto it. And Sensei knows how much value this trophy holds for this man's redemption arc. Sensei is desperate for a trophy. K9 Esports is also desperate for a trophy. Knuckle really wants to get his hands on the trophy as well, but then comes an undergod who just snatches all the limelight away upon themselves, which is Sinewy Esports, and now even they found themselves amongst the top 4.
Yeah, Sinewy Esports are looking pretty comfortable. Although the start of the Grand Finals was not entirely in their favor, day one they were on the struggling side. But by the time the matches went over, Sinewy Esports started catapulting themselves in the overall ranking. But so do the players of RNTX needs to do. This was a game where RNTX could have been so very close to the players of Team iQOO, Seoul or K9 Esports. But whatever has happened. Now RNTX, they just need to focus on the last Erangel of the day.
Yeah, they need to be able to reset the mindset, go back in with a completely fresh mindset, and think that just nothing happened in the past game. That's the only way you're going to be able to pretty much go in with a fresh mindset, right, and reset yourself up pretty well.
But you know what? We have got something for the audience as well. That is the OnePlus festive sale starting at midnight, 22nd September. You can definitely check the Amazon and other stores for the discount in the offers as well. Go grab your hands on the OnePlus devices because that is what our players are also using. But coming back to the conversation of Team iQOO Seoul as well, it was a drop clash which happened against the players of Team Nebula Esports.
True.
I'm sure in the last Erangel we can expect something similar with so many other teams as well.
Even Nebula getting 14 points, it was not a shabby performance at all, right? Revenant X SPARK, of course, getting the most amount of points. That's going to be 18 points in total. Then you've also got Nebula right there with 14. You've also got God's Reign getting 10 points. True Rippers getting 8 points. The consistency is being maintained from True Rippers, which is a good thing. For K9 Esports, though, just getting 7 points off of that game, it's going to help you keep that spot pinned down in the first spot. But now the fact that the cushion's completely faded away, K9 Esports needs to perform, needs to get a big game in their hands. And here's the good news for all the teams at the bottom. Now there's a chance they can be the one to decide who becomes the champion.
Of course, K9 can definitely decide, but here's the thing, K9 also needs to focus on their own consistency because if at all there is a bullseye target behind their back in the next map of Erangel, and if there is a drop clash, and if by any chance True Rippers or iQOO Seoul comes on the top, so K9 they have to focus on the consistency. And yes, I do agree the chances of that happening are highly unlikely because K9 they have already crossed the mark of 105 points, sitting on the top. True Rippers with 92 points.
Let's be honest, Seoul needs a chicken dinner, True Rippers needs a chicken dinner, and Sinewy needs a massive chicken dinner. Sinewy need around, 25 points in this one game, and that too, they need to hope that K9 Esports does not secure any sort of points in this particular game itself. And that's the only way Sinewy is going to be able to secure that first spot and be the champions. Other than that, on the latter half of the board, no one's going to stand a chance to make the comeback anymore. So as I mentioned, now they can be the one to dictate the pace in the last game. They can target a few teams at the top and make sure that the champions will be someone who they want to be the champions.
I think Hero Xtreme Godlike can definitely go and do that because since they are not the one to lift the trophy, they can rain on the parade of so many other teams because they were the one who were getting targeted previously in the last few days.
It has happened once in the past, right, where Seoul sort of went in on a hunt and just spoiled the game for Hero Xtreme Godlike completely in the grand finals. And there's a big chance. Now, Hero Xtreme Godlike can actually spoil the day for the players of Seoul and maybe and snatch away the chances of Seoul coming out on top in that game and, of course, taking the championship home. But here's the different thing, right? If Seoul does switch things up a little bit, if they do bring in a switch in the plans and switch in the playstyle, there's a big chance we might just see Seoul completely getting away unscathed.
I totally agree to that. There is a high chance of that also happening. But you know what? Since it's the last Erangel, last game, last day, I really want you to treat me with some squeaky burgers because all buns blazing at 99 with free delivery. And since you are going to order one for me, it's time for us to go to a short break. And on the other side of the break, we have the map of Erangel.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Look, chat, I don't play games when it comes to gaming chairs. Take this one. Doesn't recline. Makes me want to... Good thing I have an Android. Watch Gemini save the day. This chair is squeaking and won't lean back. What's the fix?
To unlock the seat, pull the tilt lever located below it and adjust it to the desired position. To stop the squeaking, tighten the bolts and spray some lubricant on the joints.
Now this is the seat to beat. Okay, cats, time for some chicken dinners.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
One last Erangel, one last game, and one last dance. Last time we are seeing these 16 teams fight amongst each other in a map of Erangel, and after that we'll get a champion team of Battlegrounds Mobile India Master Series Season 4. What are you expecting in this last Erangel, Neeraj?
The top four are extremely close to be that champion of the BGMS Season 4. But then there's a big chance we might see some targeting happening in the last game itself. We might see the latter half of the board quite furious against the teams at the top. And there's a big chance if we do see those targeting happening, one thing is for sure, a lot of the things will fumble up. And that will be the champions itself might just switch completely.
At this point, no one can afford to be fumbled. Because it's so crucial. Every single point matters a lot. Like you mentioned, the top 4 teams do stand a chance to lift the trophy. Anyone can catapult themselves in the overall ranking. Even a team sitting on the 4th spot can be the one to become the champion of Master Series Season 4. But REVENANT X SPARK, can they really recover from what really happened in the previous game? Getting 3-1 by a player in a match which is so crucial. It is going to affect the momentum and the mindset of the players for the next match.
That's what I mentioned though, right? They need to just shrug it off completely and just forget what happened to them in the previous game. Go with a completely refreshed mentality, a fresh mindset. At this point in time, all they can do is just reset. They should not be thinking of what happened to them in that previous game and how they messed up that clutch. Instead, they should be thinking, how can they get their hands on that trophy? At this point in time, the champion's still online. For Soul, they unfortunately lost out in that game quite early on, so there's a big chance now in this game Soul's also going to be looking for that redemption arc. I mentioned this, for Soul, there's definitely going to be a lot of those teams maybe going for a target, but at the same time, if Soul do switch things up at the last moment, there's a big chance Soul might just get away scratch-free.
maybe they can change their drop city. They can go to a completely different drop city. But yesterday also we did witness iQOO Soul, Hero Xtreme Godlike going all the way towards the side of Zarki, and that also didn't go entirely in their favor. So iQOO Soul, they have to be on their toes, because so many other names like the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike, or could be the players of Nebula, will try to go up against them. And not just Team iQOO Soul, even the players of K9, they need to be on their toes, because for the last time we are heading in the map of Erangel. These 16 teams are confident. Let's see which one is going to take that winner chicken dinner in this one, because for the last time, the big blue bird is going to hit the sky for match 12 of Grand Finals Erangel.
A month-long journey, and this is what it comes down to. One last game to decide the champion of the BGMS Season 4. We've seen a lot of ups and downs from a lot of those teams. We saw a lot of teams getting eliminated, even from the Challenger Series and the Master Series. But this is what it all boils down to. A team from the Challenger Series, Sinewy, making a mark for themselves and making a knowing for themselves against the top dogs. They found themselves around the top 4, and the only way they can become the champions is by snatching a chicken dinner away and hoping that K9 Esports chokes up. You've also got REVENANT X SPARK still in the race, and even Soul is right behind the players of K9 Esports. But K9 on top, they're looking extremely confident. Games are being quite consistent, and K9 Esports knows they've got the wind in the sails. But for Hero Xtreme Godlike, they've lost out on the shot. For Infinix Esports, even they've lost the shot. You've also got Los Hermanos that looked extremely strong, but even they lost everything. In the grand finals where it mattered the most, a lot of the teams were not able to perform, including Genesis Esports and Global Esports as well. There are so many big names that could have done a lot better, including OG as well. But in the final few moments, even OG fumbled up. We thought even OG could be in the potential champions, but they're way too far back now in the overall standings.
Seems like even the BGMI gods are favoring the players of K9 Esports, because look at the circle. We have a completely northern circle favoring the players of K9 Esports. All they need to do is just hold on to their grounds, defend their compounds, and play for the position points, because already they are the table toppers. Hero Xtreme Godlike also all the way towards the northern part of the map, all the way towards Selber, and might be heading all the way towards Kameshki. OG towards Rozok. Next to the players of Team iQOO Soul, RNTX heading towards the side of Milta, but God's Train towards military base.
Soul didn't switch up their drop location, still dropping around that school vicinity, which is inside of the zone as well, so that means Soul can loot up to their comfort, get their hands on the required loadout, and then move in towards a better spot, maybe towards the smack center. But let's see how the zone's going to be panning out. The stage 2 is going to be the most crucial shift, and that's what a majority of these teams are going to be waiting for before making any sort of hard dives. Even K9 Esports on that other side, they found themselves in the best possible spot in Severny, around the centric part as well. But we have seen the circle take curveball shifts as well. There's a big chance the stage 2 can pop all the way down south around Rozok.
And if that happens, I think the players of Team Orangutan and Team iQOO Soul are going to benefit heavily out of it, because they are all the way towards the side of Rozok. Even the players of True Rippers are also in the contestation, because they are sitting on the second spot with 92 points. And that also brings up the conversation that during the league plays, semi-finals, every single time we have seen True Rippers clash against the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike during the rotation. And if that happens again, if Hero Xtreme Godlike decides to go up against the players of True Rippers and get that revenge, they need to prepare for every sort of scenario, because True Rippers, they're just 13 points deficit from K9.
Yeah, just 13 points away. For the top 4, the game needs to be extremely calculated. REVENANT X SPARK as well stands a chance, but as I mentioned, 25 points it is. And if they're not able to get their hands on the 25 points, well, say bye-bye to the championship and maybe place yourself around the top 3. That can also be a good thing. But REVENANT X SPARK knew the depth of the situation in that previous game itself. Sensei knew how much that chicken dinner mattered. But just because of that one-man ninja from Sinewy, everything was shattered. You clearly saw the reaction on Sensei's face as well. The man was pissed. He was not happy what happened to REVENANT X SPARK. But as I mentioned, it's time to forget everything. It's time to forget what happened to you in that previous game. Just shrug it off the shoulders, reset your mindset, and go back in once again in the upcoming game. And try and perform your best. But NoNx now getting pounced on by the players of Nebula. And Nebula has realized as well, if they want to stand a chance to get the championship in their hands, or at least be there at the podium. They need to be aggressive, take advantage of the power play, and that's what Nebula are doing. Off the rip, finding that first knock, Kana eliminated from the game, and Nebula also able to reap the benefits off the loot.
If you remember the finals of Challenger Series on the final day during the final few games, Nebula Esports were on the hunt. And that is exactly what Nebula is doing today as well during the finals of Master Series. In the previous one also, they went for the hunt against the players of Team iQOO, and this time going all the way towards Georgiapol Containers, where we have the players of NoNx Esports. NoNx is one of those teams which has made a huge jump in the overall ranking during the league plays. In the week 1 itself, they were right at the bottom of the leaderboard, and during the week 3 and they were in the top 5. But for now, Kalyuk having a height advantage, trying to pip a few bullets towards the side of Nebula. You are poking the bear in the lobby, NoNx Esports.
Nebula, they're not going to let go off the players of NoNx because they know they've got the man advantage. Nebula constantly wants to chip away that damage. Look at Kalyuk, the man's taken down to barely any sort of HP, but Nobi needs to be careful. He caught a lot of that hurt upon himself, barely surviving on a sliver of HP. Backs away. Kalyuk's able to patch himself up, so NoNx, at least as of now, looking stable. But they've only got 3-man squad. And that's the main concern. Phoenix is well in the back lines. He knows exactly where Anonymous is positioned. And Phoenix wants to find that proper connection as well. But Anonymous is not going for any sort of unwanted peaks, and that's really keeping that Anonymous aura.
Even the players of K9, if you notice, they have left the city of Siverny, and the way iQOO is going all the way towards the northern island, there is a huge chance of iQOO and K9 also clashing against each other. But for now, coming back to the players of NoNx, Anonymous' position has been compromised, and he's trying to find something with a grenade, but Kratos gets Anonymous with a perfect nade connection.
Anonymous down, but not out yet completely. You've also got Kalyuk in the back lines. The man's getting constantly chipped away. A smoke pathway tossed out. Let's hope that Kalyuk's able to get away harms-free, but I highly doubt that's going to be possible. You've got Adi on top as well. He's just constantly watching the players of NoNx and every single move they make. Wipers in the front. Adi's waiting for one single mistake from the boys of NoNx. If Nebula is able to grab these 8 points away, there's a big chance Nebula, if they're able to get 2 squad wipes in the power play, even they will be back in the race. And if they get a chicken dinner, that will be a nuclear performance from them. And what happened to Global Esports getting eliminated so early inside of the game? A massive blunder.
Global Esports, if you notice, they qualified on the very verge in the semi-finals. They were on the verge of elimination. It was just the last game. Global Esports' misery has been continuing in the grand finals as well, but for now, Nebula Esports, they're entirely focused on to the last few players of NoNx Esports. Nebula, they're hungry for the finish points, and they are on a chase. It's a 1v4 situation for Viper at this point.
Oh no, for Viper! What was that strike? The man's just trying to play for the survival. He knows there's a lot on the line. And NoNx does not want to be eliminated just like that. A good Molotov was tossed out, but it does not matter. He still get overwhelmed by the entirety of Nebula. That's a solid approach from the side of Nebula. Not really scared of the Molotov. Instead, pushing in tandem and getting that elimination confirmed. But then you've also got Maiji Los Hermanos right around the fray. And Maiji Los Hermanos, they're here to third party. Nebula's got all the 4 players still in tracks and alive. So for Nebula, things can still be under control. And as I mentioned, Nebula needs 2 squad wipes in the power play itself if they want to stand a chance to make a comeback. There is Maiji Los Hermanos right there. But since there's not a lot of time left for the power play anymore, I highly doubt Nebula can do this.
In the power play, yes, it's highly unlikely. They can maximum get the last player of NoNx Esports, but wait a second, Adi also gets a knock onto Shadow of Maiji Los Hermanos.
Massive.
Nebula's 4v4 fights have been looking very promising. Their firepower is something which is very strong, and that makes the entire team so strong. But look at the off angle which Spy is holding on to. That's something which can ruin the plan of Nebula Esports.
Yeah, but as of now, you never know whose fight it's going to be. There's still that one man from NoNx who's constantly alive. And he's also keeping that watch on the players. Nebula, as of now, just backing away because they know Adi's knocked out. They want to get the revival on the fallen comrade first. And then maybe think of what the game plan's going to look like. Maiji Los Hermanos, they found themselves in quite a tricky spot as well. They want to get themselves out of that spot too. It's not a good position to be in. All the top teams have already entered inside of that zone. We see K9 Esports, Soul playing around that centric vicinity. Even Metal Esports is right there. True Rippers right behind Soul. There's a possible fight brewing up between True Rippers and Soul soon. They're right next to each other. And if True Rippers manages to eliminate the players of Seoul, that's competition out right there. But if Seoul manages to eliminate True Rippers, for Seoul, it's going to be a date with destiny.
Survival. That's what True Rippers, iQOO, Seoul and K9 are focusing on. They are focusing on the position points, surviving till as long as possible. But seems like the players of Nebula Esports, they are on a hunt. And mighty Los Hermanos, they are still waiting in the blue. Now Nebula, they do have an option. They can cross over the bridge and go all the way towards the northern Georgia pool. And from there on, try to enter inside the circle. That's still a possibility. Whereas mighty Los Hermanos, they are taking the brunt of the blue. iQOO, Seoul, still a very passive game coming in from their side for all the good reasons, because the point difference is just 14 points or 15 points between K9 and them. They need a chicken dinner game, but Hero Xtreme Godlike is actually clashing against the players of VXT, where Shadow has been eliminated.
Ronnie, Sarung, Ninja Jod, 3 players next to each other. You've also got Hero Xtreme Godlike right around the fray. Jonathan getting that 1 elimination point confirmed. VXT around the block as well. For VXT, yeah, they don't stand a chance anymore to be the champions. Hero Xtreme Godlike as well. They don't stand a chance. Sinewy, they've still got a massive chance to snatch the championship away from K9 Esports, or maybe even True Rippers or Seoul. But Sinewy needs a chicken dinner, and that's the only possible way Sinewy can do this. With a chicken dinner, they also need to hope that K9 Esports chokes up this game with 0 points, which is highly unlikely. Looking at the consistency K9 Esports has been implementing inside of their game, it's been impressive. God's Reign as well now, breaching it from that southern side finally.
For all the top 4 teams, the major problem is going to be the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike, because if you notice in the circle, everyone is all the way towards the northern part of the circle, where we also have the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike in such a close proximity to K9, iQOO, Seoul, True Rippers and Medal as well. Then we also have the players of VXT as well. And if you notice, if a fight brews up, there are so many chances of a third party happening from VXT or Sinewy Esports, because these guys have got nothing to lose. They can go for the aggressive stance, but look at the circle. The circle takes a northern shift, still favoring VXT, Sinewy, and to some extent the players of K9 and Godlike as well.
Seoul's left out though, all the way down south, outside of the circle. Seoul is the only team who's currently amongst the top, who's not there inside of the circle in a good spot. This is not a good look for Seoul. How are they going to squeeze themselves in a decent spot? That's my question. They're still trying their best to find a good spot to play around with. They found themselves a compound around the edge. It's not something you can rely on, but Seoul wants to play around the edge at this point. It is something they can adjust with, and that's what Seoul's going to play with. Seoul knows they're not too far back from that championship. Just a few more points. They just need to chip it out and stop the players of K9 Esports from finding that success. Even God's Reign's making their way towards Severity. Everyone wants to have a good final game. Nebula gets eliminated by the blue itself, which is quite unfortunate. Mighty Los Hermanos is still camping out that George Pool vicinity. But at that point, that fight doesn't even matter. What matters is what's going on inside of the circle.
I'm sure, Necro, since you have casted so many BGMS tournaments, you do remember one of the games where it was a similar circle, and K9, they tend to move out of Siverny whenever we have a northern circle. They don't hold on to the compounds of Siverny. And one of the time they lost onto the chicken dinner because of that very reason. But for now we have OG going up against the players of True Rippers. Back and forth, Nox coming in.
True Rippers, they need to win this fight no matter what. Championship's on the line. They cannot afford to lose out on the fight at all. They're losing out on too many players. They're taking too much damage. OG, they're ripping apart the entirety of True Rippers. One last man, Keo in the front. He's got too much on his shoulders, and if Keo gets eliminated, True Rippers' hopes and dreams, they will be shattered. But still with that one nade, he keeps the dreams alive. OG with AKOP now. And even for AKOP, he needs to clutch things out. Util tossed out in the front, but Keo is repositioning himself pretty well. The only man surviving for True Rippers. For OG, they know the shot at the championship, it's way too far back. But at least they can spoil the game for True Rippers, and that's what OG's here for. OG's not going to give up on the fight just like that. AKOP wants to go for the revival, but Keo knows exactly where AKOP's positioned. And that's where Keo, he has the advantage. Constantly tossing out the utilities, trying to stop AKOP in the tracks, because he wants to stop any sort of revival coming through. AKOP still around the compound wall. Keo, right in the back lines, trying to stay away from the nadeable range, which makes a lot of sense as well. Waiting for that nade to be tossed. In the moment he heard that nade, blew up. He pushes up, and now it's a 1v1 between AKOP and Keo. Keo is also taking a lot of damage from the backlines. He gets taken down to barely any sort of HP, but AKOP is going for the revival! And True Rippers, they will not be your champions for the BGMS Season 4! When it mattered the most, True Rippers got eliminated early in the game! What a blunder!
It was aimbot from a far-off angle, eliminating the last player, Kiolama of True Rippers. True Rippers didn't anticipate that open window from where aimbot can take the shots. A third party coming in, and True Rippers, they have lost their chance to lift the trophy. But in the meanwhile, iQOO Soul, they did manage to take few of the players down from the side of Genesis, and now they have got 3 finishes and also completely southern control of the circle. If iQOO Soul gets a chicken dinner, they can still be in the contestation, but Hero Xtreme Godlike, for now, they're going up against the players of Infinix Esports, as 2 players are down from Infinix.
Yeah, once again, Hero Xtreme Godlike and Infinix, they're right next to each other in the overall standings as well. 15th and the 16th spot, respectively. This fight does not even matter. For Hero Xtreme Godlike, should be a piece of cake since Infinix Esports, they're starting things off with just a 3-man squad in this game. So Hero Xtreme Godlike, they've got the man advantage default. At least Hero Xtreme Godlike is not dead last anymore. They're at the bottom 3 on the 14th spot. But let's start talking about the teams with a chance to be the champions. The REVENANT X SPARK, Sinewy, Soul, and K9 Esports, of course, since they're at the top. But the only way these teams can be the champions is by stopping the players of K9 Esports in their tracks. And K9 is playing such a ratty game. They're not even giving their position away. They're just hunkered up in the smack center and keeping their position anonymous completely. But looking at what happened to the players of Soul as well, this was quite an awkward fight. Getting caught off guard like that, but luckily enough, Soul do have things under control. This could have been so bad for Soul. Just imagine, if they would have been eliminated right here, it would have been really bad.
iQOO Soul need to be a bit cautious about the rotations, because they have been a constant problem. So many times we saw iQOO Soul clashing against Hero Xtreme Godlike, but for now it is the players of Team ORANGUTAN who have been taken down from the moving vehicle. Tanki has been eliminated, but wait a second, Sinewy Esports also doing a third party as Nakul has been knocked out. iQOO Soul, they need to pick their battles very carefully at this point.
Yeah, Soul's taken a lot of those fights, and that's also given their position away in the elimination feed. And soon there's going to be a lot of teams attracted towards Soul because they know Soul stands a chance to be the champion. And here comes Metal Esports with a third party. This is what I'm talking about. But Metal Esports, Termi, he gets stopped in tracks. A few utilities tossed even from the back lines. Everyone wants to take the advantage. Everyone knows where Soul's positioned. And just like that, even they've been eliminated from the game. What just happened? Upsets after upsets. Ladies and gentlemen, another heartbreaking report for you guys. Even Soul will not be your champions for the BGMS Season 4. Just a selected few teams with a chance now. K9 Esports, Sinewy, and REVENANT X SPARK.
With iQOO Soul and True Rippers being eliminated, this opens a big window for the players of RNTX and Sinewy Esports to catapult themselves at least for the podium finish. Just 10-point difference is what Sinewy is having between iQOO Soul and themselves. And 12-point difference between RNTX and iQOO Soul. If either of them get a winner-winner chicken dinner, there's a very high chance that they can catapult themselves. Even lift the trophy if they go for the aggressive stance and get extra finish points as well. But Sinewy Esports, they have got the entire control of Siverny. All the 4 players alive. It's not just K9, but also the players of Sinewy Esports who are playing the rat game. Sinewy was able to knock down few players, but were not able to convert the confirmation points.
True. Hero Xtreme Godlike on the right side. REVENANT X SPARK right next to him. And for REVENANT X SPARK, it's not a good fight at all. They should avoid this scuffle. Hero Xtreme Godlike is probably waiting to spoil a few games themselves. And REVENANT X SPARK is one of those teams that stands a chance to grab the championship away. The moment Hero Xtreme Godlike knows it's REVENANT X SPARK against him, I'm pretty sure they will try to be as annoying as possible. So RNTX just needs to play this one safe, that's it.
The main question is, Hero Xtreme Godlike is also coming in from the eastern front, where we have RNTX, who Hero Xtreme Godlike is going to lock horns with, but seems like RNTX has grabbed the attention of Hero Xtreme Godlike. Do you think this is the good approach for RNTX at this point.
I'm not sure. Depends. If they do find the first knock, maybe it is a good approach. Revenant X SPARK will be able to get a few points on themselves. And we know, Revenant X SPARK, even if they do just end up getting a chicken dinner, that's not going to be enough. They need a lot of elimination points as well, coupled with that chicken dinner. So they need to take fights no matter what. And this fight with Hero Xtreme Godlike, if they do come out on top, it's a good fight. And those points will definitely help the players of Revenant X SPARK propel themselves in a decent spot. But at this point, it's not about propelling yourself in a decent spot. It's about propelling yourself on the top. And K9 Esports, they're just personifying perfection. Look at them. They're holding down a small compound. And they're just keeping their position anonymous. They're making sure that no one's really going to be locking horns against him. And K9 Esports is just playing a quiet game.
This is going to be such an important fight for both these teams. Because if K9 gets eliminated, this is going to open a big window for the players of RNTX at this point. But if RNTX lose on to this fight, K9 for sure will become the champion of Master Series Season 4.
True. But there's still Sinewy in the race. Even Sineway's got a decent spot to play with. But Sinewy unfortunately losing out on one of their men. What happened? Even K9 Esports losing out on Slug. Revenant X SPARK, now that's going to be the go call being made. They know they've got the man advantage. And if they do manage to eliminate the entirety of K9 Esports, Revenant X SPARK will have a solid shot at being the champions. They've already got the confirmation. Omega's still in the outskirts. He possesses a shotgun, but Omega gets dropped dead. There's still two more players standing in the front, but Beast, he's got things under control. Revenant X SPARK with the man advantage inside of the fight. It gets taken down to a 2-on-1, and K9 Esports have been eliminated from the game. They're on the first spot. Especially when it mattered the most. K9 Esports, they crumbled, but look who is knocking on the doors now. It's Hero Xtreme Godlike. And even they want to stop the players of Revenant X SPARK. No time to reset, my boys. Even Revenant X SPARK gets eliminated. They will not be your champions as well. Now the fight is between Sinewy and K9.
This was the entire plan of Hero Xtreme Godlike. They were the first one to take Slug down from the side of K9 Esports. And after that, RNTX rushed onto K9 Esports. And Hero Xtreme Godlike was doing a third party. Eventually, when they did realize K9 has been eliminated and RNTX, they are wounded. Hero Xtreme Godlike, they striked in at the right moment and made sure to eliminate the players of RNTX as well. Now, it's only Sinewy Esports. They have got the circle, but they need the finish points and a chicken dinner if they really want to be in the podium.
Sinewy. All the four players up in life. For a moment, I thought they lost out on one of the men. He was knocked out, but luckily enough, they do get the revival back up. So it's a good thing. Ninja is still looking good and dandy. As long as Ninja's alive, maybe the hopes are still up as well. This man just pulled off a monstrous clutch against Revenant X SPARK, and maybe that's one of the main reasons why Revenant X SPARK is now eliminated. And even they will not be your champions. All the teams in the top four have been eliminated in this game, and there's only one team on the 5th spot that's currently alive. And if Sinewy snatches a chicken dinner away with an occasion amount of elimination points, maybe they can be your champions. Sinewy needs what? Around 8 or 9 elimination points and maybe a chicken dinner as well? That can easily propel them to the first spot if I'm not wrong. Spotting out that man in the front, shots were taken, but that's not enough to get the knockout. Sinewy needs to play a picture-perfect game. Everyone needs to be on the same track. Everyone needs to be on the same line.
Sinewy, they're still going for the passive approach. I'm not really sure if that is going to help them. They are eyeing for the winner-winner chicken dinner. Yes, eventually, if they get the chicken dinner, they'll get the finish points as well. Could be the great approach, but my Los Hermanos are also in the adjacent compounds. I love the split which Sinewy Esports are having at this point, because if the final circle is also towards the compounds of Siverny,
oh my God,
they can actually take advantage of it.
Think about this. If Sinewy gets 20 points in this game, they will be tied up with K9 Esports.
But getting 10 finishes with only 5 teams remaining and 19 players is a tedious task even for the players of Sinewy Esports.
Minus 4 players. So yeah, for Sinewy, they pretty much need to clean out the entirety of the lobby. That's what the game plan should be for Sinewy. Can they do it though? My heart's racing, I'm not gonna lie. I'm so hyped. A team from the Challenger Series. This can be a dream run. It can be a Cinderella run. Still a glimmer of hope is alive. Sinewy needs 10 elimination points to tie up with K9, and 11 if they want to be the champions. And for K9 Esports, the lead they secured, it was so massive. And the fact that everyone from the top 4 got eliminated in the last game, that was insane too. The moment Godlike realized their soul right in front of him, they started tossing out so many nades because they knew if they're going to stop the players of Seoul, that would of course be the spanner in the works and Seoul will not be the champions anymore. Godlike just played the spoiler. That's it, straight up.
They definitely did, but look at the amount of finishes which Hero Xtreme Godlike is having. 10 finishes. Had they brought up the same game on day 1 of the grand finals, not just day 1, if on the day 2 also, they had brought the same aggression, the same consistency, they could have been in the contestation. But unfortunately, the gameplay came in, the synergy, whatever the issues were fixed, but it was too late for the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. But now Sinewy Esports, yes, they still have a very good chance, but the circle has shifted away from the players of Sinewy Esports, Los Hermanos, and it's an open circle, favoring the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. What are the odds that Hero Xtreme Godlike or Medal can actually get a chicken dinner in this one?
It doesn't even matter, right? They shouldn't even be part of the conversation. Hero Xtreme Godlike, yeah, it does not matter if you get a chicken dinner. You should have played the same way in the first 2 days. Then maybe we would have talked about you in the last game. But since you're all the way far back in the overall standings, there's no point in talking about you anymore. But hold on to that thought. Los Hermanos, evil. And even his teammates are knocked out. Oh no, this is not a good start for Los Hermanos in the final few moments. Sinewy, they've already found the massive advantage. Los Hermanos, they just want to go for the revival now. Sinewy, if they are able to press up on the charge, that's going to be the icing on top of the cake. Exactly what they're looking for. But Vishu, he's only got 3 bullets in the spare. Ammunition is off the essence. And that's what Sinewy lacks at this point. But look at that nade toss from Spy. It's going to be on the mark. Sinewy, they cannot afford to lose out on players anymore. They need to keep every single player alive and intact. Sinewy does not have a lot of ammo. They need to get their hands on a squad wipe and the ammunition as well. Unfortunately, Wishu gets confirmed. It's looking so bad for Sinewy. Now down to just a 3-man squad. And with that confirmation, Los Hermanos knows it's Sinewy in the close proximity. Everyone's going to try to make sure that Sinewy is not going to be the champions as well now. Everyone's going to try to spoil that game. Rexboy is able to find that one knockout, and that's going to be the confirmation too.
The bigger worries for the players of Sinewy Esports are also the players of Godlike who are just waiting for Sinewy Esports because it was Neo who was able to get the elimination point secured onto Vishu. But for now, Sinewy, their entire focus is onto the players of Los Hermanos. Spy out in the open at a very low HP has finally been knocked out by Rexboy. This is something which he needs to do, but Rexboy also needs to be a bit careful from the blue himself and from the players of Godlike as well. Sinewy Esports, 3 finishes secured, 3 players still remaining. They have to make a mad dash inside the circle, but from the backlines, Kalan is also there, which can ruin the game for the players of Sinewy Esports.
Sinewy is safe as of now, but they need to find themselves inside of the circle, and that's where the real problems will start to strike him. God's reign. Even they've found a casualty on top of themselves, and that's Kalan, who's constantly striking down the players. A nade tossed out in the front in the hopes of finding some sort of a knockout. But is he really going to be able to find the knock? That's my question. Sinewy in the back lines as well, trying to take a fight against the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. Even they've found themselves in such a tricky spot for God's reign. Even they need to push themselves inside of the circle. How are they going to do that? Problems all across the board. Los Hermanos down to just that one man, Colin. And I'm pretty sure Colin is alive to play a spoiler. That's it.
Main question is for who is going to play the spoiler, for the players of Godlike or for the players of Sinewy Esports, because for Sinewy, this match matters the most. 89 points is where they are. Only 7-point difference between iQOO Seoul and Sinewy Esports. If Sinewy gets a chicken dinner, I think they can be on the second spot, but Metal Venom gets a knock onto Jonathan, and Sinewy are also approaching the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. Mox right in the crosshairs of Punk. Still surviving, still breathing though.
It was not a good decision from Sinewy. They should have took a fight against Hero Xtreme Godlike. That was the only way they could have survived. Now they found themselves out in the open, and everyone's going to bite on top of the players of Sinewy. It's a feast waiting to be devoured, and Colin from the back, he's the spanner in the works. I told you this. It's not a good position to be in. Sinewy. They've lost out on one of the players already, and Hero Xtreme Godlike for them. It's the go call now. Final 2 men standing for Sinewy. They can't do a lot. Utilities tossed out, and that's going to be Mox down from Godzi. Ninja, the last man standing for Sinewy. He does not even have a lot of HP. The utilities are being tossed right next to him, and he will not stand a single chance. We have our champions for the BGMS Season 4. It will be K9 Esports.
For sure, K9 Esports are the champion, but Hero Xtreme Godlike going up against the players of Metal Esports. One decision of the IGL Sinewy Esports ruined their chance to be in the podium. Yes, Hero Xtreme Godlike for the fans gets a winner chicken dinner in the last game, but it was not a good run in the grand finals for this team. But Sinewy Esports, had they taken that fight against the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike, it could have been a different game. But it is K9 Esports.
Exactly, but for the champions announcement, let's move on to the stage quickly.
ये सेलिब्रेशन जो आप देख रहे हैं, दिस हैज बीन अ लॉन्ग टाइम कमिंग. जिस टीम के ऊपर शायद बहुत लोगों को उम्मीदें थी, कुछ लोगों को उम्मीदें नहीं थी, उन्होंने अपनी कहानी लिखी है. गाइस, डोंट स्टैंड देयर, कम जॉइन मी हियर क्विकली. प्लीज गिव इट अप फॉर चैंपियंस ऑफ BGMS सीजन 4, K9. इससे पहले मैं कुछ पूछूं, just savor the moment. The entire team. मैं कुछ जो सवाल जवाब है वो तो बाद में कर लेंगे. मैं किसी एक लाइन के साथ शुरुआत करना चाहता हूं. फॉर यू, किसी ने कहा था एक टाइम पे, मेरे होते हुए तू ट्रॉफी तो नहीं उठाएगा. इज दिस एन आंसर?
मेरा यही कहना है कि जो लाइफ है ना, वो पूरा कंप्लीट सर्कल है. पिछला BGMS ही था जहां मेरे साथ अन्याय हुआ था और उसके बाद ये सारा सीन शुरू हुआ था. और वही है, कुछ लोग घर बैठ के देख रहे हैं, कुछ लोग यहाँ बैठ के देख रहे हैं और हम ट्रॉफी उठा रहे हैं. तो कुछ ज्यादा बोलने की जरूरत है नहीं, ऊपर वाले सब देख रहे हैं.
रुक जा स्लग, रुक जा. वो मोमेंट भी आएगा. निंजा, वो तो लास्ट के कुछ लम्हे थे. सिनवे भी है, TR भी है, आप लोग एलिमिनेट हो गए थे, समझ नहीं आ रहा था. हाउ आर दोस मोमेंट्स फॉर यू? वाज इट वेरी नर्व रैकिंग?
बहुत ज्यादा था. मतलब हमने एक्सपेक्ट किया था मैं कि 3-4 पॉइंट निकाल लेंगे तो इजी है अपने लिए, बट वो हमने 1-2 ही पॉइंट निकले हमारे. और हम लास्ट में एकदम कैलकुलेशन कर रहे थे कि इनको इतने किल चाहिए, तभी चिकन आएगा, तभी जीत पाएंगे ये लोग. बट गॉडल ने चिकन ले लिया तो फिर तो हो ही गया कि पता चल गया.
सबसे ज्यादा एक्साइटेड था, आई थिंक कल से वो बहुत एक्साइटेड है. तिल मिला रहा है कि ये ट्रॉफी जो है मैं कब उठा पाऊंगा. स्लग, टॉक अस थ्रू योर इमोशंस ब्रो.
बहुत ही ज्यादा वो हूँ मैं अंदर से कि फर्स्ट टाइम ट्रॉफी, और इतनी सुंदर ट्रॉफी उठा रहा हूँ फर्स्ट ही टाइम अपने करियर की. बहुत खुश हूँ, मेरी टीममेट्स बहुत खुश है, मेरी मम्मा बहुत खुश होगी. मतलब मैंने आज ही सुबह बात की थी, उन्होंने बोला था कि जीत जा बस ये वाली. बहुत उन्होंने खुद ने बोला कि बहुत अच्छी ट्रॉफी है, ये वाली जीत जाए. एंड आई फील लाइक कि वो प्रॉमिस मैंने कंप्लीट कर दिया. आई थिंक आज भगवान भी हमारी साइड थे, किस्मत वगैरह सब हमारी साइड था, कोई नहीं रोक सकता था हमें आज जीतने से. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. और बाकी किधर है रे वो बच्चे जो लीग स्टेज में पैन मार रहे थे?
अब तो करेगा. आज का दिन जब शुरू हुआ, राइट, एंड आप जानते थे कि आप टॉप में हैं, लेकिन सोल जो है आपसे 7-8 पॉइंट पीछे. चिकन एक भी नहीं आया, बट फिर भी व्हाट वर दी फीलिंग्स दैट यू वोक अप विद टुडे?
स्टार्टिंग के हमारे मैच थोड़े बेकार गए थे, बट वो मिरामार वाला मैच हमारा अच्छा था. फिर सैनहॉक में हमने देखा था कि सोल ड्रॉप फाइट में मर गई थी.
फिर भाई भाग गए थे कोने में और बच गए, उन्होंने फिनिश पॉइंट भी निकाल लिए.
उसमें नेबुला ने हमारी हेल्प कर दी. फिर लास्ट गेम से एकदम हम लोग दिल से गॉडलाइक हो रखे थे कि बस गॉडल चिकन निकाल दे. पूरा सपोर्ट था गॉडल को. फिर लास्ट में चिकन तो उनका आया नहीं और जीत गए.
कंग्रेट.
इतना पोडियम आके हमारा मतलब परेशान हो गए थे, हर बार #2 #3 पे रह जाते थे, बट फाइनली ट्रॉफी आ गई है.
चलो ग्रेट, ट्रॉफी तुम्हारे घर तक पहुंचा देंगे. थोड़े टाइम नहीं, मैं मजाक कर रहा हूं. वी आर गोइंग टू टेक अ ब्रेक, और ब्रेक के बाद द प्रेजेंटेशन वेयर दिस डिजर्विंग टीम विल गेट टू हैव देयर हैंड्स ऑन दिस ब्यूटीफुल ट्रॉफी.
R is for RAM on roids, a 12GB ramped up, run on all engines upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test, proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
And now comes the part which is the most exciting part where we give away the awards, the presentation. और सबसे पहले award के लिए I'm going to call on someone who's going to get probably the loudest cheer, the CEO of Nodwin Gaming, Mr. Gautamberg. Guys, we can cheer for him. And well, he's got a massive key in his hand, and that is for the TVS Most Wicked Raider. And I'd like to call on someone we've had a lot of conversations on this stage with, from REVENANT X SPARK. Here comes Trace God. Because Trace is walking all the way from, I think, the second rung. Jaldi aaja, Trace. Joel. First, आप चाबी ले लें of your TVS Raider. इधर आजा, Trace. So obviously, बहुत सारी learnings होगी इस tournament से. It's been such a tough tournament. You do pick up this beautiful bike. आप सबसे wicked raider का खिताब भी लेके जा रहे हैं. But till the last day, कैसा लग रहा था that we are in it, ये ट्रॉफी जो है हमारी हो सकती है. बहुत सारे सपने जो हैं वो देखे होंगे. Unfortunately, कभी-कभी सपने जो हैं वो सच नहीं हो पाते.
आखिरी में भी हमारा था कि हम जीतेंगे करके. आखिरी गेम तक था, मतलब भले ही ये था कि 20 पॉइंट निकालने करके शो कर देना.
क्या सीख मिली होगी इस पूरे टूर्नामेंट से? The way you have played.
एज ए टीम 0 पॉइंटर्स बहुत कॉस्ट करते हैं.
आई थिंक इनफ सेड. टीम के हिसाब से 0 पॉइंटर्स बहुत ज्यादा कॉस्ट करते हैं. बट कांग्रेचुलेशंस ब्रो ऑन दैट बाइक और ये चाबी. ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट हम अवार्ड देने वाले हैं टू द TVS MVP, द मोस्ट वैल्यूएबल प्लेयर. और उसके लिए मैं बुलाना चाहता हूं समवन हु हैज एब्सोल्युटली हैड एवरीबॉडी इन ऑ. हाइड्रो, वेयर आर यू बडी? From True Rippers की कहानी. चिकन डिनर उठाए इन दीज फाइनल्स और आखिरी मैच तक, आखिरी दम तक, आखिरी लम्हे तक ऐसा लगा, who knows, शायद ये True Rippers की कहानी हो सकती है. First, please do collect your award of being the MVP. बहुत भारी तो नहीं है? Come. हाइड्रो, आखिरी मैच, यू वर स्टिल इन इट और किसी को समझ नहीं आ रहा था ये किस तरफ जा रहा है. ट्रॉफी के इतने नजदीक पहुंचना, यू कुड प्रीटी मच स्मेल द ट्रॉफी एंड टू नॉट विन इट, दैट मस्ट बी हार्ट ब्रेकिंग.
I mean, it
was right in front of our eyes. थोड़ा सा और एफर्ट होता, थोड़ा सा और हम लोग बेटर कर पाते तो आई बिलीव वी वुड हैव won it. But congratulations to K9 also. They played really well and obviously they deserve this win. So I believe the next time for us.
You played phenomenally well, man. बहुत भारी trophy है. Go join your team. Go join Jelly, Keo and all the other guys. Right, now for the next award. Let's call on Mr. Nimish Rawat, Global Head Esports for Nodwin Gaming. And of course, Nimish that's not his cap, just to remind everyone. Though he's dressed for comfort, Nimish is here to give the award for most finishes, our max finishes, something which has been a very, very tight race. And guess who's winning it? Once again, it is Trace God of Revenant X SPARK. Trace, another award for you. इसको यहीं रखना चाहिए था. Because he's been absolutely stellar इस पूरे tournament में. Revenant X SPARK, Sensei की team, shout out to my brother. And Trace, you also pick up a check. There you go. चेक आपको बहुत जल्दी मिल जाएगा. And now we have our most important set of awards. This is for our second runners-up. It was such a close fight. And to do the honors, I'd like to invite Supriya Shankar, Vice President for Swiggy, to do the honors here and give the award for the third place team. They were in the race. They were in the race for 2 days in running. And then they slipped. And that is the story. यही होता है इस tournament में, क्योंकि आखिरी पल तक आपको पता नहीं लगेगा, आखिरी मैच तक पता नहीं लगेगा. And the team that is picking up the third place award is iQOO Soul. So can I invite Knuckle, Goblin, Legit, Joker. There, guys. A check of 12 lakhs, 50,000 goes to iQOO Soul for coming in third in BGMS Season 4. Congratulations to iQOO Soul for picking up the third place award, a check of 12,50,000. Right, for the next award, thank you guys. For the next award, which is for the team that came in second, and that is the most heartbreaking thing, right? क्योंकि आप fight में होते हैं, आप लड़ते रहते हैं, but then किस्मत जो है, at that moment आपका साथ नहीं देती. So I'd like to call on someone really special, Mibu, who is the head of strategy and esports for Crafton India. Another loud cheer coming for him. And we have already spoken to someone about this, right? हमें पता था कि शायद True Rippers भी जीत सकती है, Soul भी जीत सकती है, but out of the blue, and this is once again an underdog story, क्योंकि जो team challengers का हिस्सा थी, 4 tickets वहाँ पे मिली. They come into the Masters. They were fourth at some stage. And now, picking up the first runners-up award is none other than Sinewy Esports. Sinewy Esports coming in second place. शायद इनके लिए भी जो आवाज यहाँ पे आई है, it tells you कि कितनी passionate story है, कितनी emotional story है ये. It's a huge win for all these guys. And they pick up a check, the prize money of 20 lakh rupees. 6 zeros, man. Mox, Rex Boy. And they also get the OnePlus 13 to go along with it. Sinewy Esports should be very, very proud of what they have achieved. Thank you guys and congratulations. Thank you to Mibu as well for doing the honors. And now, the one award. One final time. एक ही बचा है और वो सबसे बड़ा है क्योंकि वो सिर्फ एक अवार्ड नहीं है, वो एक ट्रॉफी नहीं है, वो एक ख्वाब है. हमने उनसे जाना था बट अब वो मोमेंट which they are going to cherish for the rest of their lives. वो जुड़ चुके हैं ग्लोबल ई स्पोर्ट्स, गॉड्स रेन और iQOO सोल के साथ. ये ट्रॉफी कोई भी 2 बार नहीं जीत पाया है और शायद वो प्रथा जो है वो बरकरार है. And this is the moment, right? Let's call on Gautam Vark, CEO of Nodwin Gaming, to be a part of this. And again, he's been doing this for a while. There you go. All right. 168 matches spanning close to a month. League phase underwhelming. Then वो पहुंचते हैं अगले स्टेज में. They play the semi-finals. Nobody called them favorites. But कहते हैं कि immortal बनने की कहानी में ऐसे बहुत सारे एग्जाम्स, ऐसी परीक्षा जो है वो पार करनी पड़ती है. Ladies and gentlemen, to be the greatest, you have to compete with yourself. And that is what we have witnessed. Your champions of BGMS Season 4, K9 Esports! With the IGL Omega at the helm, these guys have pulled it off. The proud winners of what has been arguably the toughest season of BGMS. It's K9 that come out on top, and they are the proud champions. They also pick up the OnePlus 13. Everyone who has played in this tournament from this org, they know the phone really well. After all, every match was on the OnePlus 13. Thank you once again to Gautam Vark for giving away the check and the phone. Alright guys, अपने phone, अपना check. Wait. Hold on. You ready? They're calling on other members of their team. Jaldi aao, jaldi. Guys, 1, 2, 3, 2, go! Once again, just reiterating, the champions of BGMS Season 4, K9 Esports. A special thanks and a special mention. It's been a long tournament, 48 teams, close to a month, 168 matches. The team that really made it possible worked behind the scenes. So a huge shout out to Nodwin Gaming, each and every member who put in their sweat, their blood and their tears into it. Sleepless nights. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this has been a raging success. Thank you so much for joining us from wherever in the world you are. This is good night. Remember, we'll be back for season 5.